architecture, you have to emulate backwards compatibility. But that's a problem. Because now you need a lot of what
are on the PS5 right now are emulated.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get. But here's the problem. Because you're emulating them, you need permission. See, PC gamers can emulate games because they're really pretty much stealing it. They're not getting permission from the company, but most companies are not going to put in the energy to fight emulation on PC. It's not worth the energy. But with an actual company, they can hold a billion-dollar company accountable for illegally emulating and selling the game because that's not part of the deal. You know, so for example, pick a favorite game, Sean K, that you like from the PS1 and PS2 that's not Sony first party, like a third-party game.
Let's see.
PS2 Under the Matrix.
Apocalypse.
No.
No, but a favorite game of yours.
I'll say Tenchu.
Okay, but let's say, but pick one for. Go ahead, Sean K. Pick a game that's third party.
I would say
that's not on PlayStation yet. That you wish was backwards compatible. They haven't platinum yet, or you haven't played yet because it's not available. But you want it there.
Can't platinum those.
Shoot, Brave Fencer Musashi. I wanted that.
Okay, so that's Brave Fencer Musashi. If Sony emulates that game and puts it on PlayStation, the publisher and developer could be like, whoa. What are you doing? Because you're emulating our game and you didn't get permission. So we're going to sue you for stealing our game because it's emulating. You understand what I'm saying? If the console was able to run the original code, let's say, for example, how you can play Resident Evil. I ain't going to use Resident Evil 4 because there's a PS5 version. Think of a game on PS4 that doesn't have a PS5 version. That's third party. But Resident Evil 4 is a PS5 version. Okay, so let's say like OG Resident Evil 4, or like think of any PS4 game that doesn't have a PS5 version, right? You know, but it's okay, boom, there you go. That game, right? It could run on PS5 and there's no issue because it's natively running the code, so there's no issue. That's what Sony paid for, or that's the agreement between the 30% cut. Natively run the code and nothing happened. But you take Brave Fencer Musashi. And Sony emulates it to run on PS5, that's a problem if you didn't get permission and renegotiate a deal with the owner of that. Because you're not playing the original code that was allowed to be played on PlayStation. You're playing an emulation of it. That's a whole different deal. And that's the problem. PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4 cannot run original code of these PlayStation 3, 2, and 1 games. They all have to be emulated in some way and to run. And many of those has to have a deal, renegotiated deal. That's why even on Xbox, right? They have great backwards compatibility, right? But it's not the full library 360. It's around 500 games or 600 games, which is a lot, but it's not the entire library because some of those games, they just can't get it because they can't renegotiate the licensing deal. It's just can't happen. So that's the problem with full backwards compatibility of PS3 and older generation games onto new platforms. You know, one, you have to get the emulation working to begin with, but even if you do, you got to get the deal and relicensing. It's got to get done. Now, on PC gamers, will be like, oh, but we got Bloodborne on PC. Sure, because no one's going to go after you for getting Bloodborne to run on PC. No one's going to go after you. But notice when you emulate Nintendo, they go after you. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a. They don't care. They will spend $1 million because they lost $1. They are that what you would call it petty. They don't care. They don't care if they have to overspend to protect their IPs. They will protect their IPs. So if you try to emulate a Nintendo game under any condition, they're going after you. Period. The rest of the industry is not that, I ain't gonna say that petty, but they're not that guarded with their IPs. It's not worth the money, you know, to go after, especially these old titles like PS3, PS2, PS1. Sony's not losing millions of dollars by not having these games emulated on PC, so they're not going to bother, whatever. They're not going to, go after anybody for emulating games. But when people say, oh, man, we got a PC, the PS3 emulated on PC, so Sony's bullshitting, it's not so much bullshitting. Sony has to be complying with rules. PC emulators don't. They do whatever they want. They don't have, the restrictions like the company does. Like, just the mere fact that, sure, you have the PC emulator, but it is also broken. A lot of games don't run well. Some games run half-assed. Some games don't even run at all, but nobody says nothing because it's free work done by somebody. But imagine if PlayStation released a PS3 emulator and half the game doesn't work. You know the backlash PlayStation would get? for releasing an emulator, and you can't even like only your game half-heartedly runs, they would get crushed. And then some games that are emulated without permission from the owner of the game, they will get crushed legally. You know what I'm saying? So Sony can't be like the PC guys, and PC, Sony, any company is bound by much layer of restriction than an open platform PC guy who will not get held accountable. So yes, an open PC guy can run and launch a half-assed, emulator, and no one's gonna say nothing because it's free. It's not a company. It's not tied to a product that you pay for. You know what I'm saying?
Unless you're Nintendo.
Yeah, they're gonna go after you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So PC guys who do emulation, they have the freedom and time to do emulation because no one's gonna go after them. No one's gonna be like, "Oh, you suck! What the hell? This game only partially works at terrible frames." Like, bitch, it's free. The hell you complaining about? You know what I'm saying? So no one's gonna complain that. But if Sony does it or Xbox does, and they release a emulation, and the game don't run flawlessly or whatever, you're gonna get backlash.
Yeah, Sony should at least try to put their first-party PS3 games on there, though. Like,
Yeah. I agree too.
I mean, their top-selling PS3 games, they pretty much remastered all of them and put them on PS4.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's another thing.
For the most part.
That's another thing.
Some people
You're right.
Want the infamous games, Resistance, Killzone.
Oh yeah,
You're
personally,
you are right though. Like God of War 3 is on there, not Ascension.
Yeah. Me personally, I'll be honest. Me personally, I'd rather have Sony just invest in remaking the games rather than backwards compatibility.
Well, that's
me personally.
Gamer, he said that years ago. He said that's pretty much what they were going to do with most.
Not that DLSS Giga Chat bullshit. I'm talking full blown remakes built from the ground up, like Capcom.
Like them remaking God of War. I'd rather see that remade. Those IPs deserve to be hit like 10 million.
Yeah, because some games, some games are just nostalgic. I mean, I know there's a community of retro gamers. I mean, cool, but is that like which you think would be a bigger community? The retro gamers that want to play these games backwards compatibility, or if you say we're gonna do full blown remakes? Like for example, Sean, you said Brave Fencer Musashi. Would you prefer to put the money energy? You only have one. You can only pick one. Backwards compatibility of Brave Fencer Musashi or full-blown remake built from the ground up for your PS5? Brave Fencer Musashi, brand new built from the ground up.
He's picking the one with the platinum, brother.
Which one? Which of the two would you prefer, Sean?
I don't think the original Musashi has trophies, right?
Is he thinking? Yeah, that's true. But let's see what he's thinking. Yeah. Or he left. Or he must have went to the bathroom. You see what I'm saying? Me personally, I will always take a full blown remake. I
played it either way.
But you pick one. Pick one. Gun to the head. There you go. Remake. It's remake. It's always gonna be the remake. Gun to the head is always gonna be the remake. Even though if you have to buy it, but the thing is, it's all up to date to your current platform stuff, and then you're gonna get the trophies and all that stuff, or achievements, depending what platform you want. Me personally, I don't want to. I am not interested in any old game because the main thing I'm afraid of is the gameplay. I cannot imagine replaying the original MGS1 the way it is. It will ruin it. I know it's gonna ruin it. It's not gonna feel well no more, especially after playing the modern Metal Gear and stuff like that. It's just not gonna feel well no more. I think even like Gears of War, right? Reloaded. They remastered Gears of War 1. We all know that, right? But some of the people who play Gears said that was a mistake because if anything, they should have remastered it, but with the more modern Gears of War 3 gameplay formula. Like they should have never.
It felt like a bust. Yeah.
Yes.
Like a bust.
They said they should have never. They should have modernized it with the Gears of War 3 gameplay. Thing. And got rid of the one because when you play one, it just feels dated. It doesn't feel fun.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah. Because they play the more modern, up-to-date Gears of War. And I'm afraid someone's gonna like that.
Yeah, Gears 3 and Gears 5, as far as the way it plays, Gears 5 is just buttery smooth.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
So I agree with that. So I always think like some games, right? And I get the backwards compatibility and all that, but I think some games, like some ideas were so way ahead of their time. So we're like Resident Evil. I think Resident Evil was a game that was ahead of its time, and now we're truly seeing like with the technology we have today, we're truly seeing Resident Evil at its best. You understand what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Like it's at its best. We're seeing Resident Evil at its best.
2 different campaigns for Resident Evil 1, 4 different campaigns for Resident Evil 2 with 2 mini games, 3 mini games.
Yeah.
They had Hunk, Tofu, Force Survivor, 3 mini games.
Capcom was just ahead of the curve, man. It was just they were just so ahead of the curve, man. And how when you think of Resident Evil 2, I beat Resident Evil Requiem, fucking fantastic game. Oh my god, I loved it. Yo, the ending was it. Chat, I never realized. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but I never realized that dude was Leon's husband. I had no idea. Yo, that shit is crazy. Wait till you guys beat it, bro. Wait, when you got the true ending and you realize who the husband was, crazy, bro.
Somebody got a husband on that game.
Wow, bro.
That's fake.
That sounds like a spoiler, P-Rock.
Whoa, bro. Yo, I don't know how the anti-woke mob didn't destroy this game. The ending's so good that they not even they could have touched it. That's how incredible that ending was, bro. That not even the anti-woke mob even dared to touch it. I'm not spoiling it for you. But when y'all play and beat it, for those of you who have yet to beat it, you're like, yo, bro, I was like, this is some, like, even Netflix needs to learn from Capcom. They just amazing, bro.
Yeah, I'm underneath the hospital picking up plugs.
We'll can't believe what's happening, bro. We'll just can't believe this shit.
Shame on you for shame.
But I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys.
So you're picking up plugs?
Okay.
Yeah, the electrical plugs. You're underneath the hospital and she's running around.
Okay. I got you.
That part's getting on my nerves. That part's getting on my nerves. But it's fun. There's things
God, the game's amazing.
But it is a fun game.
She is an annoying character, though. She is annoying.
Yeah, I agree. Worst FBI agent in history. So,
yes, and she has a stirring problem from hell. Like, damn, girl.
But it does say that if you read those notes and it talks about her, it does say that she's socially awkward. If you read the notes, because I read those notes and stuff like that, and because that helps add to the lore. But yeah, it does say she's socially awkward and she stays at work. You know, she goes to work at 2:00 in the afternoon, stays till like 2:00 in the morning, has no friends. That's literally in the notes there when you're reading them. So, but yeah, I think that game's crazy.
Oh man, it's amazing. It's absolutely it's absolutely love it. Now I don't know if I'm gonna do the platinum run. I don't think I'm gonna do it. It's a lot. Sean is right. It is a lot, man.
Pragmata is really good.
Yeah,
is it you playing it?
After I move.
Yeah, so I got like 5 hours in. It's really good.
I'm
glad I didn't get I'm not gonna lie. When I went into work yesterday, I started seeing everybody on Twitter beating the game. I've seen a couple platinums already.
And then the PSSR came out though.
I was going with that. I was like, thank God I did not rush this game.
Now, is that the same thing they did with Resident Evil? Because they updated and they did another update. Is that what they did with Pragmata?
No, I think it was already.
With Resident Evil, I think it was already built in to that.
Yes, it was built in.
All right, cool.
It was built in. Yeah.
This one was.
What's surprising is Digital Foundry said that, because at the time it was released, it was just an amazing thing, and it is the best way to play it on console.
Yeah, they didn't actually.
And this is before the patch. This is before the patch. That's absolutely incredible.
I had no issues playing it actually.
Okay, no, not about issues. Is how it runs on PSR Pro. It was like the best way to play it on Pro. Yeah, Sean, I'm telling you, man. Damn, bro, Sean, why didn't you buy the Pro during the holidays? It was $650, bro. It was $650.
Well, I had life responsibilities, so I couldn't get it.
Yeah, that's more important. That's more important than
you from Houston. You balling. I could tell you balling. Don't lie to me. You talking about responsibilities. Yeah, you out in the club. Throwing dollar bills. You could have You could have stood away. You know how I know how you Houston cats be doing. You could have stood away just 1 weekend away from the strip club. That was your pro money. Don't lie. 1 weekend. You could have sacrificed 1 weekend of making it clap. You're lying. All you Houston dudes. You lie. Liar. Used to was like I used to. Yeah, right. Sean Sean's like, last time I went to the club was last week, dog. I haven't been back since.
How many times has Sean hit us up like, I got a date tonight, Like, okay, big baller. Oh, you got money.
You could have stayed home one weekend, and that would have been your pro money. You could have stayed 3 hours less. If you would have left the club 3 hours earlier, that's your pro money. That's how much money you spend up in the strip club. You would have left 3 hours earlier, you would have had your pro at 6 feet. He don't play, man.
It's all good, though. It's all good.
Oh, that's good. Man.
If anything, though, I would actually say stay on the base because you do a lot of walkthroughs. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna wait till PS6. I'm gonna save for it.
Okay. Oh, don't blame me. Yeah, that's a big AI machine. So I hope you're an AI guy because that machine is AI heavy.
But I'm saying, hopefully it's not. It doesn't do generative AI. A lot of people,
right?
Like everybody mixed. You know, when that whole thing with DLSS 5, everybody mixed the argument, and that's just how it is on Twitter. Like you can only have 2 discussions like live because then you could like filter out the bullshit. Like you can't really filter out the bullshit. I just mute it. When somebody says something stupid, I'm like, it's 2026, dog. You muted. Talk to the void. I ban them to the void. You don't know how my mute game has been on overdrive. That's like the default choice.
You guys have like fucking Brother Craig tweeted something that pissed a lot of people off.
Yeah,
Help me out real quick. I was like, the patience you guys have, I just don't.
No, I just mute now. I mute a lot. Especially if it's the first time I interact with you. Yeah, like my first, like if because I'm pretty good at remembering people who interact with me on Twitter and stuff. If I never seen you before, in the very first thing you come out and say is dumb shit, yeah, you're muted because you were already going downhill. I'm not gonna add more. So I just mute you, and then whatever. You're just talking, and I don't block. I mute because I want them to talk in a void. I want them to keep going. Yeah. I want them to think that I'm actually. I want them to think that they think I'm reading their tweets when I'm not.
It's funny. So like, I really wanted to talk about one of the topics that we're gonna discuss today, right? So I kind of like commented on Porter Rock's like all of his shit that he's posted today, and everyone that he has muted is pretty much just fucking talking to a wall and shit. Like, you're stupid, you don't know what you're talking about.
I muted him, And the best part about mute, and the reason why I mute and not block, because they're just gonna create a new account anyway.
Yeah.
At least when you're muted, they're not sure.
We saw somebody like last week. He had multiple profiles.
Yeah, so it's not really worth the block because they'll just open up a new account. So, but muting, they don't know. They think I see it, just not responding. They have no idea if I see it or not. That's the beauty part about it. You don't know if you're muted or not.
You had last week talking about a man holding on to another man's pocket and laying down.
Oh man, this guy. Oh man, you gotta bring that up. Oh man.
Did you have an interview with Chocolate Thunder?
I was sorry.
Brother Craig.
I saw that in Oz. I saw that in an episode of Oz. So that's why on HBO. That show was crazy. You know what I'm saying? His roommate was out of BC. Oh shit. You know what I'm saying?
I couldn't believe what I was reading.
I'm just saying, man. I said, listen, man. All I gotta say is if people think I'm not gonna clap back on Twitter, my God, you have not been paying attention. I'm just not gonna.
Chocolate Thunder on that
shit. Even Craig was like, God damn. He's like, what the hell?
And I was like, whoa.
And then just leave it alone. Be cordial. You could talk a little shit, but when you go too far, I'm like, all right. We'll sling some dirt. Like I'm probably better at it. We'll sling dirt. I'm all good.
Live on Friday. That was the best part.
Well, I didn't know that. Somebody tweeted me and said, "Man, he did that shit live." I'm like, no, he didn't.
That show.
Don't play with me. Don't play with me, man. It's just like at the end of the day, it is just video games. But if you want to go there, we can. we can. It's just video games.
Video games.
But if you want to get dark,
you
could go.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about Resident Evil 9. How long did it take you to kill that fat thing that fat thing? Because I had to fight that dude like for a few minutes, and I've seen people when I look at walkthroughs. yeah,
You
with
just had to
Leon.
stab
Yeah.
him. You just had to stab him with the thing like 3 times. It wasn't that
Oh,
hard.
okay. Yeah, I was running for my life from that thing.
Which one? The one with the
All you gotta
warts?
do,
The
you
one
gotta
with the
sneak up- You gotta
blisters?
sneak up behind him. You gotta
The one
sneak
with the
up behind him.
blisters? The one with the
Uh-huh.
blisters?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. The one it's like in the attic. Look like you fight in an attic or something like that.
I think he's talking about the
Oh,
first
like the
boss
big
fight with Leon.
baby beluga looking thing. That's like crashing
Yeah,
everywhere.
Chunk.
Yeah.
Chunk.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah, I was running for my life, but it took me a while to put that thing down.
So what I do is
Funny,
there's
so
two
The
weapons.
secret is to run because every time he runs into a wall, it like
You get stuck.
No,
Oh,
it
okay.
relinquishes ammo. So like if he runs into a wall, shotgun shells will fall out. If he runs into a wall over here, sniper bullets
okay.
fall out. And then you want to
Yeah.
get to the higher levels that have more boxes up there, and then
Yeah.
you can jump down
Yeah,
and
the
hit them with your
ladders,
axe.
yeah.
Like
All right.
it was,
then,
that was a great boss fight. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Some of them
Yeah,
were
me
like
that
Yeah,
was
it
cool.
didn't take that long either.
Yeah. It took me a
Me-
minute or two because I
Me-
didn't know like, oh god, yeah. I tried to
I
throw
have
a
it on
grenade or
stream
something like that.
on insanity mode. I have it on stream. That
Yeah.
motherfucker kills you in one hit.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? I was whooping this fool's ass, dude. I was landing all my shots. I was hitting him with the axe, and then he got me once and dead. I was like,
Yo, that's crazy. Oh, you need
no.
but you don't. But wait a minute.
What's
You
up? You died
in the second run, you don't keep like the armor. You know how you could buy the armor in the
no,
chest and all that.
that's a gripe that I have. It doesn't have a proper new game plus to it where you can go in with armor, with your guns that are already
With the stuff you
upgraded.
already, you have to
You
rebuy everything.
You have to pretty much redo everything all over. And because it's like,
Wow.
But you get the
survival
chest in the
horror game-
beginning though. You could start that in the
You
beginning
do.
though.
Yeah, you do. But because it's a survival horror game, you can't upgrade all your guns all the way, like towards the end of the game.
Not in the
Like
beginning.
if you want to get a
Not in the beginning,
badass pistol, a badass shotgun, sniper, you want to upload or upgrade the rec room, you just can't do it all. No matter how many times you kill everybody, whether you kill everybody. Like I did a couple runs where I just skipped every enemy with Grace in the hospital. And when I went to go clear everybody out with Leon and kill everybody, and
But you didn't have
next
powerful
area,
weapons
I still couldn't upgrade all my shit. I was like, bro,
because
I
you
wish
didn't
there
kill
was-
enough.
No,
So if you're trying to do
exactly, yeah,
because if you're trying to do the 4-hour run, you can't fight. You have to like run and just breeze
Just have to
through
keep
it.
running.
too.
Okay.
but like I've
All
done
right.
like fun runs, you know what I mean, where I was
Yeah.
just trying out different shit, and like if you skip every enemy in the hospital or the chronic care center, there's only 23 zombies in there, and like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
wish there was a proper new game plus to it. That's all.
That you can
Yeah,
keep
they
doing
may
that.
add that. 'cause I think-
Well, at least the option.
Yeah.
Like give you the option.
Yeah,
New
I
game
think
plus
they'll
with
add it.
equipment or new plus
Yeah.
starting, from scratch.
Right.
Because I think
they'll
some
add
games
it.
did that. I think there are games like that that did that. I think there are games that give you the option to start from scratch or carry over. Could have
Yeah, the Last of
sworn.
Us. The Last of Us does that.
Yeah, you
Was
can
it?
Resident
If you
Evil
play
4.
the PS5 version, I think if you finish it, because it also lets you got to do a run through it. You have to beat it in order to unlock their new clothing and stuff like that. Because when I was streaming it, it was a while back. People were like, well, where did Ellie get that shirt at? And they thought it was a PC mod. I'm like, no, you gotta. They added this with the PS5 version. You beat the game, then you can go back in under like a new game plus, and you can change Joel's
They added
clothes
that.
and the gun and stuff like that.
In-game
so-
store where you could buy all the clothes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool how they did that. I don't know if they did it for part 2, but for part 1, yeah, they did that.
Yeah, Resident Evil's had
Nice.
something similar for the last couple games where they had like an in-game store and you collect in-game currency that you can buy from.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I bought like a couple things from Leon and Matilda or something like that. I bought that, and I got like 1,600 credits in the currency thing. So
I
yeah,
really
fun game.
wanted the infinite ammo, but when I saw that thing was
I
like
did, too.
35,000 credits, I'm like, what
Oh.
the fuck?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Like
Infinite
that is a
ammo, oh,
lot.
man.
You have to play that game
Yeah.
like twice just to unlock that.
Wow,
That one
And
thing.
you, can,
Like,
I guess you can't spend it on anything.
oh
either.
man, I think that was too much. I'm like,
Yeah, I think
oh,
what I
man.
did to get it was
And I had
did,
9,000 credits when I beat the game, so I'm like,
Mhm.
shit.
I think what I did to get infinite ammo was I did the speed run, I did the no healing, the never touch the stuff, and I think
Yes.
I did the no blood collector.
The
I
no
did all
blood
three of
collector.
those in one run, and then I was like, all right, cool, I can get it now.
But that's the
Oh,
thing. Like
wow.
for me though, if I did all that, then I'm probably not in the mood to do the unlimited ammo now because I'm like,
Right.
I played the game twice already, fully through. You know what I'm saying? I wish it was a little bit more accessible because it's just fun. The Resident Evil's fun. Like after you beat
It is
it and you
fun.
did it the way it's intended. Now it's just to fuck around and have fun. And in the game, just mess around and just have fun with stuff.
Yeah.
But awesome
God,
game,
I
man.
wish they would have changed that. I
The,
wish
the
they
actors were at the BAFTAs not too long ago, and they had Leon and the Grace actor do their voices. And as they were presenting the award, she was like, "And the award."
Oh,
I was like,
man.
"Oh God, dude, I fucking can't stand that
Oh,
stutter." Oh my God,
oh
it's so
man,
annoying.
stutter, yo,
Yeah.
her stutter's crazy. Her stutter's crazy, man. That's good stuff. And,
Today, Junior.
like,
Yeah.
oh man, oh man, but
Oh,
that's
man.
good.
Yes,
Awesome
I
game.
get it.
I
In the
guess
beginning of the game, you're scared. Like, oh God.
Oh man.
the most surprising thing about RE, Resident Evil Requiem and even Pragmata is, at the beginning of this generation, people used to complain, oh, $70 games only takes 10 hours, 15 hours, blah, blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah, blah. Now, you don't hear it. Nothing, right? Pragmata
Oh, I
comes
got a
out,
better
at
one.
all.
nobody
My fault,
complains.
Entity. I don't mean to cut you off. I got a better one.
Yep.
When Spider-Man 2 came out, they're like, "Oh, it's only a 20-hour game." Like, get the fuck out
Yep.
of here, dude.
That game was long.
Yeah.
That for
It was
me,
pretty good.
pause. It was a
Yeah.
long game. Yeah, I did a whole lot of stuff and try to get
It's
all the
just,
suits and stuff like that. Yeah.
I'm always more concerned about
So, I'm
quality
gonna have to play- I'm
of
gonna have
what
to
the
play
game
that
is.
one. I'm gonna have
Every
to play
game
that
needs to
one.
be 100 hours. Like,
No.
Yeah, not every game is
No.
100 hours because most
I
100-hour
did-
games don't have actual 100 hours of content. It's just repetitive bullshit that keeps
Right.
you busy.
That's
Yeah,
why they were
that's true.
championing.
It's not true gameplay.
Starfield. That's why they're championing Starfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather take 10 hours of true gameplay, quality gameplay, than 50 hours of fillers and just
Yeah.
like I don't
Yeah.
want to play. There's some games that are
Well,
just huge fillers.
I think Starfield, you can do that in 12 hours if you just do the main missions.
Mm.
But where I like it is that you can join those different factions and do missions for them and subvert different things on other factions. That's where I like about that game. So, but yeah, I understand. I got it.
No, if it's done right, like yo, Terry, most people already put in like 30 hours and they're like, wait a minute, I'm now finally reaching the second boss. And I'm like, yeah, that's common.
That's the way I played it. Yeah, that's the way I played it.
Because it's very common in that game. Like, because you do so much cool shit that by the time you realize it, you only killed the first boss, and that was right in the beginning.
Yep.
You haven't killed the boss
that's
since,
right.
and you're doing all this stuff, and you realize, wait a minute, I still haven't went after the second boss.
Yeah.
That's good quality
what I was.
content.
Yeah. Because I wanted to build up the character and train and all
Yes.
that kind of stuff. So,
And it's and they do it in a good way. It's like done in a great way, doing the things you need to do to build her skill sets. It's fantastic
Yeah.
game, man. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I enjoyed that game. Yeah.
All right, let me go. Welcome, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers. Welcome to 60 Frames No Like Podcast with the crew, where we talk about everything across gaming, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, Nintendo, the industry, good, bad, or ugly. We do it here, So I'm going to go through, we're going to kick it off and, do the intros, and then I'll just go into the view activity and hit up these super chats and conversations and stuff like that. So we'll kick it off. Chill Will, what's going on, brother?
hey man, how is everybody doing? Appreciate y'all for having me. Hit that like button, chat.
Boom, right? Of course, we got Sean K.
What up, P-Rock? What's going on, chat? How y'all doing today?
What's going on, brother? So what's your platinum count?
I'm at 2216.
2216.
Yep, and
look
I
at
just
Chill
let
Will.
it-
Chill Will's like,
I want to do it, but I'm not cousin.
Oh, yeah,
he
but-
wants to
and
say it.
I also platinum Life is Strange Reunion.
Really? How was that game?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. How
It
is
was
it?
good.
That's the new one, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
I love the first
I wanna
one.
play that.
Yeah, I love the
Thank
first
you,
one.
Square
I love the first one.
Enix. Awesome.
Oh, this man, what a curse.
He wants to. That's awesome. That is awesome, man. You know what's
I
funny?
know.
I'm playing right now, and I'm on chapter 9. I'm almost finished. Is the Quarry? I finally caught up to that
Let's
game.
go.
I wanted to just.
Corey's good.
Yeah,
I beat that one, that's
after beating Resident Evil, I said, you know what? Let me jump into the Quarry and continue that little horror theme. It's really
Oh,
good.
that's a really good game. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
It's
did
actually
you-
pretty
did you
good.
play Did you play the Devil in Me too?
I played. Yes, I did that. I did that one. Yeah, that was part of the.
That was
Yeah,
a really good-
I got to
that
do
was
the
really
new one, the sci-fi one, the one that's in space.
good. Next
The next
Oh,
chapter.
Order. Yeah, that comes out.
Oh, Detective 8020 or Directive 8020?
Yeah, it's already out. It's already out, right? Or it's
no, no,
coming.
no,
it's
no,
not
no.
out.
No,
It's not out yet.
it was delayed.
Oh,
it's coming-
nice.
it's coming out
Okay,
here
so
shortly,
oh,
though.
nice. So I got
It's gonna
time.
be it's gonna
Yeah.
have two PSSR 2.0 on it. I believe.
Nice.
I believe that's the delay.
But yeah, but I did the Devil in Me because that was the last one.
Mm-hmm.
because the one before that was Hope, something like that. Whatever. It's been good. All those.
Good series.
That was a good series, but the Quarry's really good. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, that surprised me. Yeah, that was like, this is actually pretty good. Yeah, it's actually what I thought it was gonna be. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
They
Cool.
had Dewey or Doofy from fucking.
Doofy. Yeah, I saw. Yeah, he's in there. It's hilarious. It's pretty amazing when you see like actors, even if they're B-list in video games, man. I like seeing how far the medium has come. Right. All right.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Well, I like the lore. Yeah, I like the lore. They actually follow the lore correctly in that game too. So I was like, all right, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
All right. Craig, what's going on, brother?
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
How's everybody doing? Shout out to everybody here. Shout out to chat. Hit the like button. And if you ever go to prison, don't lay on your stomach. That's all I can really say.
Oh man.
Yeah. But shout out to everybody. Also, big update. If you have PSVR 2, you can play Microsoft Flight Sim. That update happens, I think, either Thursday or Friday. So I know J Dub's been playing it. He's been streaming it. So pretty cool game.
Yeah.
So
console exclusive.
I've already played it.
Console exclusive.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. Okay, yeah. I plan on trying to get it, but I'm moving, so I don't know if I'm going to buy anything. I'm kind of.
It's a console exclusive. It's a console exclusive.
Oh shit! Okay.
Only console.
It is Motorrock. You're correct. Because they released the beta version, right? They released the beta version. That is actually a console exclusive.
Oh, it's funny. All right. All right. Good to see you, Craig. Hey, Entity, what's going on, brother?
Everything's good. Still on Yote. Probably added another 50 to 100 photos.
Wow.
Played a lot of, as I said, Flight Sim 2024 in VR. Especially flying helicopter, low line. Playing that fucking song from Predator. What is it? With the Huey helicopter, you just, in the jungle.
Get to the chopper. Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper. Yeah, it's like it is amazing. The other thing I would say, and probably these are going to be a topic, is PlayStation had a bad news with Shuhei Yoshida. But again, it's just like clockwork. Xbox comes out, it's like, bam, now, we're the discussion. Game Pass, COD, no more. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right. We'll talk about both, though. They're both on a podcast.
The AI to curse.
I have to readjust his prompt.
Machine learning.
He's updated.
It updated, yeah.
All right. And then finally, we got Henry.
3.0.
Yep. And now we got Henry. What's going on, brother, man? How's everything in Taiwan?
Yeah, this is like my last podcast here in Taiwan.
Oh, nice.
You coming back?
Next week, this time, I'll be in the air, actually. So.
Oh,
let's go.
Nice.
Okay. You're going back to America?
Yeah.
Are you sure you want to come back to America?
I know you're happy.
Hit the like button, everybody. And
are you sure? The restaurants are expensive out here.
So, yeah, and you know the issue is if I reschedule
I know why
the
you're
ticket,
coming
I might
back.
pay so much more money.
I know why he's coming back.
The oil costs so much.
Yeah, no shit, right? Yeah, I know why you're coming back because of LA Lakers, aren't you? Because of the Lakers, right? You want to see that miracle run live in LA.
Yeah. No, the Lakers are gonna lose.
Oh man. All right. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, safe
The
travel.
TV. Oh my God, it's a godsend. It is amazing. Like it's just like falling in love all over again. Like oh man, it is. Yeah, OLED is the way.
Oh yeah. Did you get the G?
Oh yeah. Even my wife when she's. No, I got the Samsung S95F.
Oh, that's a great one too. That's a great one. Yeah.
So
Is that your first time experiencing OLED?
Like in my house, yes. I seen it like in the stores, whatever. But like 5 minutes.
The PSVR is OLED.
Ooh, oh yeah. Well, then I had that too. But I guess I don't know. Just playing the big screen TV. Yeah, it's a beautiful experience. Even my wife noticed it. She looked at the TV. She's like, "Wait a minute. Why don't I have this? Wait a minute.
Do you gotta pay for an extra subscription for this TV too?
Yeah. What's
one
up?
thing one thing I would suggest specifically with OLED as a OLED connoisseur myself is find in a game, right? Find an object or a particular scenery that has white in it, right? The color white.
Yeah.
And if you can pull up from the internet or like a hue, it shows your yellow, your white is a little bit closer to the yellow side or the blue side, and start a little bit playing with the settings to get
Okay.
it right in terms
More
of what
white.
you have a preference. Yeah.
Okay.
Like
Use a reference
I
point.
do.
Use a
Yeah,
reference
use a
point and
reference
match
point.
it.
Yeah, and I
Good
do
point.
prefer on the more on the blue side because it makes the contrast is a little bit higher. So, but just
Okay.
it's up to you how to decide. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Appreciate the advice. Thank you. All right. All right. So Henry's coming back soon. He's coming back to America. His tour in Taiwan is almost over. I don't know, Henry.
Oh, you
Food's
Eddie
food's
Murphy,
pretty
just come
expensive.
to America.
I know they might just stop me at the airport, ICE, and then just arrest me or something.
And they just send you right back.
Oh man.
They might send you right back. I don't know. I don't know what it is. All right, brother, man. Thank you so much, everybody, for rocking through. I really appreciate you guys coming through. And then, of course, chat. Everybody who's viewing live. We currently have 150 people watching. Really appreciate you guys showing up. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you're new to the channel, this is your first time coming up live, just checking it out. Stick around. Enjoy the crew. The panel's the best part of 60 frames no lag. It's not me. It's them, and I want you to enjoy all the knowledge and conversations they're about to have, and welcome to the channel. And if you do end up liking the channel, subscribe, hit the like button. Everybody else, please hit the like button. And if you want to do one more thing for us, and that's share this out on Blue Sky, Twitter, wherever's your favorite social media place, where you connect, whatever, get more people in. I truly appreciate that, And then also membership opportunities is available if you choose to. But ultimately, what we're happy about is you guys just having fun, rocking out with us, and talking to us. And with that, let me get into the view activity module to see what's going on. And we kick it off with Glassdoor Gamer with the super chat, $2. And he says,
Shout out Glassdoor Gamer.
Absolutely, man. So, great supporter of the channel, always rocking out with us, man. Saros next week and only on PlayStation.
Preload today.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It
Ooh,
preloads
man.
today if you have the deluxe.
I'm gonna get it. Well, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, I got the deluxe.
So
Got it for $40.
When does it come out on PC? Because I'm so when's it coming on PC?
I think they
It's
pushed it
not.
back.
I think it got delayed indefinitely.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll wait then. So.
Okay, yeah, you can wait. Maybe in the next lifetime. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe they'll emulate it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you got the deluxe edition, it's will
today.
be 20 preload. I gotta double check. Because I bought the deluxe edition because I got it for $40 because of Cash App. So yeah,
Cash App.
and it'll be
Cash me outside.
yeah, it'll be ready the 28th. So looking forward to that. But yeah, Sorrows next week, man. It's gonna be awesome. Gordo P23. What is it? 27th? Oh, because
For me, it's the 27th at 9 p.m. It's midnight. for you.
because it's at midnight. It's the midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are 3 hours ahead of us.
Yeah. Gordo. I ain't gonna lie.
Same time, dummy.
Listen. Experiencing California West Coast time, it is so great for sports. It's literally the
Isn't it?
perfect. Yes.
True.
It is so awesome to watch sports because, as soon as you're done, you still have most of your night ready to go. On the East Coast, it's time to go to bed.
Right.
Especially boxing.
Oh,
Boxing, the main shit don't start till midnight. The main fight is usually at midnight.
is that legit? Oh, it is.
Think about it. It's 9 o'clock on the
9,
West
yeah.
Coast. It's 12 o'clock on the East Coast.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yo, it's crazy, bro. I'm telling you. Think about it. Super Bowl starts at 8:30 over here. Or some
Yeah,
weird
sure.
shit.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just yeah,
Bowl
like
is 5 o'clock for me.
yeah, exactly.
6
You
o'clock
know?
here, 6:10.
So
6:10
so
to be
so
exact.
West Coast is definitely the sports coast, man. You could watch
Y'all got
all
so
the
many truck
games.
drivers over there in the East Coast.
Yeah, exactly. You can watch all the games and you still have most of your night to chill after after sports games. But
Right.
anyway, Gordo P23, $5 super chat. Thank you, brother, man. Really appreciate you rocking out with the channel. He says, so before they were paying $20 a month to play Call of Duty, and now they're paying $23 a month with no Call of Duty. How is that an upgrade? because they got suckered. Because yeah, we'll talk about that. But I know exactly what you're talking about. You know, I know exactly what he's talking about because everybody's talking about that. Glassdoor Gamer, another super chat. Really appreciate it. Says PS6 is going to slap PC gamers in the face. Nvidia already doesn't care about them to upgrade GPUs for gaming. They will be running AMD Amadeus. Oh man. Yo.
Crazy work.
PC guys are already mad. I keep dropping those pictures of Grand Theft Auto on PS5 Pro and
keep doing
they're
it
getting
as
mad
you should.
and mad. Yeah,
as you should.
They're not real. Those are PC pictures.
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I was told. I'm like, well, wait a minute. It said it was running on PS5, and they were like, huh? You know, like Scooby Doo. That's what they look like.
Raggy?
I was literally gonna do the voice right now when you said that.
Raggy? No,
yeah, that's what they sound like. You know, they mad as hell.
All right.
Keep letting them know. Keep asking when Charles is coming to PC.
Yeah, because I'm
And
getting
all they had to do was just leave us alone. Leave the whole console thing alone, and they didn't. Now they're gonna get the brunt of it. They're gonna feel it in 2026.
Yeah, they're getting the horn. But they're now. It's so bad for them that they've retreated to something called path tracing. Like that. It's that bad.
Like that. Like
so bad. It's path tracing.
You know, it was like last gen. They use ray tracing against the PS4 and the PS4 Pro and even Xbox One X. Oh, you got 4K, but we got ray tracing. Now, this generation, we got ray tracing. Now they're jumping to path tracing, which is pretty much that's it. What do you think the PS6 is going to have?
All of them have path tracing.
And not all of them have path tracing, or at least if they try, the game's running like shit. The PlayStation 6 most likely will have path tracing. It's like, man, these guys can't
stutter as much as Grace and Resident Evil.
Whoa. Yeah, that's wild. That is wild. That is absolutely wild. All right. Okay.
That is wild.
And then let's see. We also got John Baptiste. Thank you, brother. Shout out to you and shout out to thank you so much for engaging on Twitter as well. $10 super chat. He says Pragmata to me is what Expedition 33 is to M. And plus, as a pro owner, I'm enjoying the PSSR 2.0. Is it really? I know Pragmata here is really good, but is it really that big for you? That's interesting. That got me hyped, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it after I move.
Pragmata is freaking awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it. So,
apparently you're gonna love
it's
it.
a game of the year. Apparently, it's a game of the year contender according to a lot of people. So
between that and Resident Evil 9,
yeah. So right now they're the early. Since the Derby's coming up in a couple weeks, they're the pace setters. They're the two pace horses out of the gate. So we'll see what Soros does in a couple days. So.
I feel like that's going to catch a lot of people by surprise.
Oh yeah,
Soros. Yeah, it looks really good. Yeah, so it looks really good.
I hope it does, man. I hope I hope a little bit of people who played Returnal after the fact, like people who gave Returnal a chance like months or years later. Now be like, damn, look what I missed out when this game launched. You know what? The next title, I'm there day one. Hopefully Returnal built that audience where, the long tail of the audience now drives the initial sales of Sorrows because people be like, man, Returnal is actually, some people who played it late were like, yo, this is like my game of the gen, like personally for some people. Some people are like, man, this is amazing. So hopefully that kind of like helps sell Sorrows up front, that those people jump on board day one and stuff. So we'll see. Right? M, we got M up in here.
Hey.
Yo, everybody. How you doing?
What's going on, brother? How's everything? How are you doing?
Everything's good. Everything's good.
Okay.
Just,
You're bundling up?
Showing up on time.
Okay.
Today's actually a hot day. Melbourne
really?
Melbourne is one of those kind of places where he doesn't know what he wants to be. So seasons are suggestions, not rules.
Okay.
California in the springtime.
Okay. All right, brother.
Exactly.
Man. Glad you're here. We're just doing some super chats and we'll get into the topics. All right. But pretty much, John Baptiste, thank you so much. And then we got Glenzer. Back he says, nice to hear 60 frames no lag after Friday night when we got 20 minutes of no sound. Yo, I don't know what happened. But like I'm still talking and they like the sound just got clipped for like 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. And everybody's in the chat was trying to warn me. But the thing is I had a different screen, so I had no idea. So I'm just talking and yapping,
The lights
going
on your
through the
mic were on
slides.
too. That's what was a trip. It was like, wait, what?
Yeah, and the mic was on. Like usually it will go off to let me know, hey, you ain't talking. That's why I have it. So that way my dumb ass knows when the mic's not thing. But yo, I don't know what the hell happened. It was hilarious. People said that's 20 minutes of practicing rip leading skills. So
Oh,
it's
man.
you get a little education here. Practice your rip leading, your lip reading skills. Lip reading
I
skills.
know. Hey, it's funny.
I'm like, what the
that
fuck?
You say that now because all I saw was you mouth.
Oh, yeah.
What happened?
And you caught that.
Yeah, caught that. When you finally saw, when you finally realized, you're like, what the happened?
That's awesome, bro. All right. No, appreciate it, right? All right. And then, of course, all right, that's it. One more announcement is tomorrow I will be starting my morning show. So we're kicking off for those. Yeah. So to kick it off.
What's your topics?
So that's a work in progress.
Okay.
We're trying to feel.
You're gonna have some competition, and our boy Reforged Gaming is on in the morning.
Is he on Wednesdays?
Yeah. Well,
what
every
time?
morning. He's out every morning.
Every morning. Oh, okay.
Normally.
Okay, so we'll see.
10 o'clock.
So
Yeah,
we'll see.
so
We'll see.
Yeah.
So we'll see what I could do. We'll see what I could do.
Yeah.
We'll see. I do want to differentiate it, but not too far where people be like, "What the hell is going on here?" We'll see. It's gonna be community shaped. It's really for that. But I know some people they're unable to watch either Friday Night Live or 60 Frames No Lag because of the timing. A morning show would accommodate them being able to jump on live and just enjoy the show. So, but I don't want it to be just another Friday Night Live. So I got to do something different. Maybe more news centric. I don't know. I
think that'd be cool. More news centric.
More news centric across
Friday,
the board.
You kinda, shoot the shit. You look at
Friday I just shoot the shit and I'm just in my bag. It's Friday we
I think
chilling.
Cool, something a little bit more news centric.
But more news centric and structured. So I'm thinking about that more structured news centric thing possibly. But we'll see. We'll figure it out. We'll work there. We'll work. I'll evolve the Wednesday morning for the audience that's there. All right. But appreciate it. Thank you so much. And now we're gonna kick it off. So let's go to the first topic, which is a combination. So Xbox dropped the price of Game Pass and they took off Call of Duty. So I'm putting on the screen the CEO of Xbox, Asha Sharma. Don't squeeze the Sharma.
Yeah, I love that woman.
Yeah, let me click. Let me hit a like button on that one for her. She said Game Pass Ultimate has become too expensive for too many players. Starting today, we're dropping the price from $29.99 to $22.99 a month. Future Call of Duty titles will no longer join Game Pass Ultimate on day one. They will join this tier the following holiday after launch, about a year later. Current Call of Duty titles will remain available to Ultimate subscribers. We'll keep learning and evolving Game Pass to better match what matters to players. Right?
Can I translate that corporate speak?
Of course. Sure. Absolutely.
Okay. So what it's saying is we're dropping subscribers like flies. The only thing that we could figure out that will, remove or, save costs on it is renege on what we promised. So bear with us until we figure this shit out.
I mean, that's a good way to break it down.
You're not wrong, right? You're not wrong about this, right?
Resume.
Okay. Oh wait, hold on. I didn't mean to put that. So you're not wrong about that one, right? I think at the heart of this is it's a couple of things for me. Number one is redemption, because we said for years, Game Pass not sustainable. It's really not sustainable.
I said that on this podcast.
You said it. We said. I think a lot of people said it. Even Xbox guys who got sick and tired of Microsoft were saying it, and they got excommunicado, right?
Yeah. Sure.
But even professionals like Sean Layden and other industry experts, like Take-Two, they all said this doesn't make sense. This is not something we would do, right? So you had professionals, you had people within the community that was saying that this is not sustainable, right, across the board, and people went after it, right? And it just wasn't growing, and clearly, The top dogs and execs were not happy with the results. So I think this is the first step into trying to fix Game Pass, which is ultimately, let's be honest, just copy what PlayStation did. Because literally PlayStation did the numbers too. They did the numbers, right? A lot of people when they heard
temples.
yeah, when they heard PlayStation and PlayStation execs and even Sean Layden saying, yeah, this ain't gonna work, they're not pulling information out of their butt. They did the numbers, they crunched it, and they realized, yeah, this is not gonna work. Yoshida even said that they lost money on Horizon Forbidden West for putting the game on the service a year later. So even a year later was still bad, let alone day one and stuff, right? So the answer is it's got to be more like PlayStation, what they're doing, because it's pretty much what it is all along and stuff,
Yeah.
So they took off Call of Duty as well. So they dropped the price and they took off Call of Duty. So this is going to be officially not all games are D&D. Of course now, people are saying, oh, it's just Call of Duty, but we heard this before. It's just 4 games.
Just 4 games. Yeah.
They're only talking about ABK. It's always no, it's just. It's never more. When in reality, Microsoft will go more. Microsoft already broke their campaign promise of how Game Pass works, which is all their games are day one on Game Pass. They already now broke ice by saying Call of Duty is no longer day one on Game Pass because it's just not sustainable. I think that's just the first of a strategic method of also saying certain other games won't be on, and I think they're going to do it strategically in their best interest of maximizing the sales with games. Like me personally, I don't think Elder Scrolls
I don't
6
mean
is
to
gonna
interrupt
be
you, but
their
there's
day.
actually another one that hasn't
Well,
that's
kick off.
been announced, but not for Game Pass.
So you kick it off. I'll take it over for you, and then we'll just go through the panel. But first, hey, what's going on, Valkyrie?
Valkyrie, Queen.
Hi. Hello.
Hello. Let's go. So what you did? Mountain climbing, free base, jumping off buildings. Anything exciting?
She's like Steve Irwin.
Yeah, like Steve Irwin. Did you ride on the back of a stingray across the ocean or something?
No, that's in 2 weeks when I go over there. No, I went shooting and I did VR and lots of gaming on the weekend and some painting. Actually, lots.
Hey.
Oh, she did. She's fixing the house. That's it. She got her power tools, and that's it. She's expanding her home. Okay.
Power tools. Yeah.
She's building her bat cave. Okay, that's good. All right, awesome. Thank you for showing up. Oh, she's getting that pro ready. She's like, listen. If I gotta spend this much money on a pro, I need a dedicated part of the house to do it. It can't just be in any part of the house. Oh man. All right, thank you so much for coming through. All right, so Chill, we'll kick it off. Your thoughts on chud and change of Game Pass and Call of Duty no longer being part of it.
Well, damn, can we start off with thank God we got some type of news before the podcast and not the day after, 2 days after.
Oh yeah, right. Sometimes, yeah. I know what you mean.
But so my immediate thoughts are like, I think on the surface level, this is a win. There's nothing wrong with people wanting to pay less. You went from $360 a year for Game Pass to now $275 to $280. I think that's a win on the surface level.
Yeah.
And I would like to throw in that maybe that probably stopped PlayStation from raising their prices a little bit, at least for now when it comes to PlayStation Plus, because that was one of my predictions like a couple of weeks back. Don't worry, I'm gonna land the plane real quick. I see.
Fucking M is getting his fresh beverage. He's getting his beverage ready.
I think losing Call of Duty sucks.
I'm already seeing Will sweat.
Buy that anyways.
In 4K right now, dripping.
No, don't worry. I'm gonna land the plane right now. I'm gonna land the plane. Yeah, losing Call of Duty sucks, but I think players are gonna buy that anyways. A lot of players when it comes to Game Pass are more like buffet players anyways. So Call of Duty doesn't really affect those type of players because like the buffet style type of players will try something here, play this for 2 hours, or they'll complete this. Like there's a reason why Expedition 33 doesn't have a high completion rating on their achievements. You know what I mean? Is it enough for me to resub? I don't personally know, and I don't know about any of the other players that they've alienated either. Me personally, if they would want me to resub back to Game Pass, they would have to make their games exclusive. Like, why would I want to sub to Game Pass for Gears of War when I have a PlayStation 5 Pro? You know, maybe try it out for a month with Forza, but you know, Forza's not like, I gotta play that right now. You know what I mean? That's just me. But I don't know. But there's also two elephants in the room, and we kind of touched on this a little earlier. It starts with Call of Duty. You know, what's to say what's next? You know, Porter Rock hinted to Elder Scrolls 6. There's another game that they announced that did not have Game Pass anywhere on that trailer. Does anybody on this panel or in the chat know what game that is?
Was it Fable? Was it
Gears
Fable?
E-Day? I don't know.
It was Blade.
Oh.
Blade did not have a Game Pass at all
Are they
on
still
that trailer.
making it? Are they still making it?
That I don't know, but I
Okay.
re-looked at that trailer earlier today, and it did not have Game Pass anywhere on there. It said Arcane Leon, said from Bethesda Softworks, but it did not say Game Pass day one. So I know you're quick to go on Elder Scrolls 6.
But no, that's a good one. I never even thought about that.
I don't think Blade is even going to be Game Pass.
I didn't even think about that.
I don't think they're going to just take away Call of Duty. This is the second elephant that I want to bring up in the room. I don't think they're just going to take Call of Duty away. I think they're going to raise that motherfucker to $80.
Good point. Because
Nintendo
started Call of Duty.
The standard price for Call of Duty.
Because I think
it's not going to be with Forza because they already have the price out right now. I don't think they'll do the remake of Halo because last year Microsoft was pretty fair when it came to their remakes and remasters. I think Gears Reloaded was $40 to $50 with the deluxe edition, and I think Tony Hawk was like $50 to $60 if I can remember correctly. I can't remember. So I don't think Halo Combat or Campaign Evolved will be a full price game, but I think Call of Duty is going to be their $80 game.
That's not a bad prediction because they tried it with Outer Worlds 2, and I said if they're going to do the $80, they did it with the wrong game. Like Outer Worlds 2 is
a double-A game.
Yeah. Outer Worlds 2 is not the game to introduce $80. I'm not saying that they should introduce it, but if you're gonna do it, you got to do it with your bigger blockbuster that sells a lot every single year, and that's Call of Duty. If there's any game that's gonna get away with, there's only certain games that's gonna get away with $80 price tags. That's Madden, 2K, College Football, Grand Theft Auto, and then maybe a Nintendo big blockbuster IP like Zelda and Mario. You know, in fact, they did. Was it Mario Kart? Mario Kart was $80, wasn't it?
Mario World, yeah, Mario Kart World.
Yeah, Mario, something like that. Yeah, Mario Kart World was $80. So yeah, so there's certain games that'll get away with it. Outer Worlds is not one of them, but Call of Duty might. Call of Duty might get away with $80 because for some people that's the only game they play. So they literally have an Xbox or a PlayStation just to play that game. So if they don't buy that game, they really don't play anything else. So it's worth it for them.
Charge you by the gigs or something because you know it takes like 200 gigs to install the game.
It does take a lot of space. It does.
They should pay us for taking up that much gigs. Like, you're making it harder for us. But yeah, so good
those
point.
Are just my thoughts. I'm really curious to hear everyone else's thoughts.
All right, we'll kick it off to Sean. What are your thoughts about the whole Game Pass? Price drop,
Xbox,
and taking off Call of Duty.
Burn down to the ground.
Oh man,
Xbox will burn down to the ground, like I always will say.
Okay, that's it. No thoughts about Game Pass. Didn't you have Game Pass? Or you never had an Xbox. How about PC?
I don't have an Xbox.
Okay, you have a gaming PC?
I don't.
Oh, so you're pure PlayStation. That's what I'm talking about.
I am.
Not some of these frauds that we have here on PC. No, I'm playing. I'm just joking.
Man.
I'm just joking. I'm kidding.
About the Game Pass situation, well, I'm gonna give you my opinion about the Game Pass. I feel like it's a W for them, but I feel like just like Chill will say, I think it's a start of the other games starting to break away from the Game Pass. I think it's going to start with that. It's going to go with Forza. And then it's going to go down to Gears.
No, I thought Forza was already announced.
I think it's already announced, though. I think they already announced it.
Probably would. All right,
yeah, they announced it.
Okay.
I think it's really hard. They're going to inject it slow, but yeah.
Yeah, I think
just
they're
a
going
tip.
to do the Game Pass
Pretty much.
For like the older games that they already have on the older first party titles. And then, they'll probably swap like the other games, like how they always do the regular Game Pass or whatever like that.
Okay.
So other than that, I feel like it's okay for right now. But like I said, it's more layers to this Game Pass thing. Once this thing does go down, they're going to be raising prices in other places. I guarantee.
Okay. Okay. All right, Craig. What are your thoughts?
I agree with Chill Will. Yeah, I don't have an issue with it. Shout out to Don't Squeeze the Sharma for the email saying I could get Game Pass, the middle on PC, like they have the tiers, the middle tier or something like that. And one of the tiers, it was like for $1 for seven to 10 days. I'm not going to do it, but yeah, I have no issue with it. It's going to be interesting to see if this is just the tip and they just is it going to be more than one game, or if they're going to start moving other games off of it. I think shout out to you Puerto Rock and King Thrash, and yes, myself. If I don't toot my own horn, I said on this podcast, in order for Game Pass to make money, it's going to have to be anywhere between $40 to $45 a month for people, for them to make a profit. So we'll just have to see what they do. I don't have an issue with it. Shout out to the people that got their wish. They were all celebrating today, from what I could see.
For
real. And shout out to Don't Squeeze a Sharma for and everybody got to understand that she didn't just get that job. They've been vetting her for at least 6 months before they moved her into that job. Yeah, so she had a plan, and this was one of her things to get the price down. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if this is them possibly, like you and Chill Will said, that they're going to start moving games off of Game Pass. And I could honestly see a version of it where it does, some of those games do get moved off. And if not, some of the games will go up in price, which I've been saying for a while. I've been saying, get it ready. You're going to be paying more for your games. And that includes with PlayStation as well. You better get it ready. So because their games are going to go up too, because it's inevitable for the games to go up. That you should be paying about right now about 103. It's either $98 to $103 per game.
Oh, hell no.
Right now. But it's not going to, I don't think it's going to instantly jump up. But yeah, I think it's a W. Shout out to her for doing it. And let's see what else she's got planned. So
in fact, let me play this video. Since you mentioned that Asha was pretty much vetted and, the whole conversation. So a lot of people, let me play this video because this was James who pushed this out on Twitter. This pretty much captures Asha and her experience and what she's really going to bring to Xbox. So everybody listen to this. This is a great clip.
Asha Sharma's resume, read honestly, is the single clearest signal of what Microsoft's actual strategic priority for gaming now is. 4 years as a vice president of product and engineering at Meta. 3 years as chief operating officer at Instacart, scaling a delivery platform through a period of aggressive monetization and tier restructuring. 2 years back at Microsoft as president of product for the Core AI division, where her reported claim to fame was mobilizing 100 engineers inside 48 hours to integrate AI logic into Microsoft's Azure toolchain in response to competitive pressure. That's not the resume of a gaming executive. That's the resume of a platform scaling operator and monetization specialist. Someone whose entire professional records about extracting revenue from user bases at global scale. With AI demanding tens of billions in infrastructure investment and gaming's hardware business in visible decline, what Microsoft needs from gaming isn't growth, isn't innovation, isn't prestige. What Microsoft needs from gaming is a stable, extractive, high-margin revenue stream that can help fund the real bets being made elsewhere in the company. Which means the person running gaming needs to be good at extraction and stability, not at creative vision or cultural stewardship.
So that right there, when I saw that, I'm like, that's exactly what they're doing, right?
The music, though. The music in that video was sad.
You kept it simple, But I think the orator pretty much broke down what exactly Asha's doing, I think some people are receiving this information, and I will continue, but I think people are receiving this as she's doing a favor to the community. It may seem that way, and like I think we all agree. I mean, going from what was it, $30 to $22 or whatever. it's a huge savings. Yeah, it's a huge savings for that. And then and right now, the only thing right now that had to be sacrificed was Call of Duty, right? So overall, some people saw Caesars as a kind of a win, because they still got the majority of the library minus Call of Duty, right? And especially if you didn't care about Call of Duty, the price reduction fits right in line with what you want, right? Instead of having Call of Duty shoved down your throat and stuff. But her expertise, she says, when she says, "Hey, Game Pass is too expensive," is because she sees that right now it's at a price point where people are just not going to sign up, right? So she got the price down, but she needs to extract a price where it could be profitable. So she's going to continue to trim in other areas. The first big obvious trim was Call of Duty. That was obvious. Once the rumor started, I'm like, yeah, Call of Duty's gone, because 2 back-to-back financial L's on your you know, biggest annual title that's supposed to print money every single year. I mean, that's why ABK became so big. Call of Duty was one of those reasons. It was a consistent. It print money every year for ABK. That was their big printing money machine every single year.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes under Microsoft hands and back-to-back financial losses, primarily due to Game Pass. Yeah, that's got to go. So that was probably
one report that Black Ops 6 cost around like $700 million to make.
Yeah, and it was like it's even
believable now when you hear the budgets of all these other games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's huge. So that was like an obvious. That was like the easy fix. That was like, yeah, you got to get Call of Duty off the service. That's not even. But I think some of us already mentioned, so I'm going to move it over to M. But I think I don't see if I'll be surprised if anyone thinks that this is not like the cuts. Okay, all right. So we'll go last. We'll go to Entity. We'll go to Entity. Entity. What are your thoughts
I've gone
about
after
this?
M. That shit sucks.
Okay. So, quite complex thing in a very short few sentences. At the end of the day, subscription model, right? You can say Game Pass or Netflix, whatever it is. It only works with scale, right? And what that means is you want the highest number of subscribers as possible. Now, for Netflix or other platforms such as Spotify, it is easy to get a very high number because it's ubiquitous, movies are ubiquitous, songs are ubiquitous. The value that is being derived out of it is easy to derive and easy to present for the customers. And it's mass scale, right? It's for the casuals. You can have many different things. The problem with gaming subscriptions, specifically with Game Pass model, is when free-to-play games exist, right? Such as Fortnite or Roblox or Apex Legends, the casuals don't really have that massive incentive to, adopt Game Pass, something like Game Pass. So the only Hail Mary that Xbox or Microsoft had to capture the casuals into Game Pass was Call of Duty to reach that scale, but they failed to do so. And what I think they're admitting now is that Game Pass is never going to be a scalable subscription model. It is going to be for the hardcore. And if they pivot towards that, maybe it will be a minor success. But the problem is the costs are going to keep going up. And Game Pass, it's not going to work out. And the reason now, it's not going to work out. And I'm not sure if they're going to have a legal case on their hand. Imagine, I don't know, Timmy, right? Last year or the previous year, he's decided to subscribe to Game Pass for 3 years, stack it up. And the reason that he did it is one of the reasons is if he was smart enough, he emailed his friend Little Johnny saying, hey, dude, I'm subbing to Game Pass because you told me that the next 3 years, Call of Duty will be on it. I am subscribing, right? And he subscribed based on that reason. Now, if they remove Call of Duty out of it when they promised, I think they might have a legal case on their hand. So that's my 2 cents.
Wow.
Okay. All right, good point. Yeah. All right. Okay. Henry. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, it's a nice move. I think it's just like a more realistic move. I think the value proposition period is long overdue because I think initially they kept the price more attractive to gain subscribers, and that didn't work, right? So, and then in order to kind of offset the costs that they had to accrue for making the subscription fee competitive, they had to increase it, and then they realized Call of Duty isn't really saving Game Pass, so that they have to separate the games that are kind of just bleeding money by being on the subscription services, and they want to make that as part of the sales, right? So I'm not surprised at these pricing changes because like every quarter they have to do this quarterly review, right? So, and I think Netflix is up to like $27 a month, like
Oh,
starting in May.
wow.
I think. Yeah, the highest tier.
Wow.
So yeah, so I'm not surprised that Game Pass has to make their adjustment. Do I think it's gonna save them? No. Yeah, I don't know where Microsoft is taking their gaming business, right? So it still look like they're on the trajectory to completely phase out Xbox as a brand. And that's kind of sad to watch it walk into history like that. So, but yeah, I mean, at this point, like I'm just with to kind of look at it from the PlayStation gamer perspective, like the PS5 generation is finally starting, right? So with it's a late blast off, but it's glorious, right? So the PSSR comes in on the Pro models, and it's just making all these really expensive PC just not looking so impressive, right? But I mean, it's still the best looking what should we call it, the best looking games out are still on the really high end PCs, but like the cost is really not that much worth it considering the improvement is so marginal because they couldn't optimize PC components, right? So it's great to be a PlayStation gamer.
Goddamn right.
Oh, man.
All right, good. And then Valkyrie, any thoughts behind the price reduction and Microsoft now saying Call of Duty will no longer be part of the day one on Game Pass?
The price reduction, I think, will work because I already don't have that many people playing Xbox. So if it makes it more accessible, I mean, to be fair, when I used to have an Xbox, I never subscribed. If I wanted a game, I bought it and I played it. I don't care that they're taking Call of Duty off because I play Call of Duty on my PC, so I couldn't give two. Was it?
Wow. So wait a minute, you saw something that you liked and you bought it? Is that what you did?
Yeah, I don't do subscriptions. Like if I want the game,
okay.
I'll buy it. Or if there's a demo, I'll do a demo. But
wow, that's very
these days,
adult.
Honesty.
Yeah.
Well, aren't we? I mean, we're all adults, but in this day and age, we have YouTube. We have people like Chawil and M and Sean and all the people who can do walkthroughs or demos. They play it. You can see a game before you even decide that you want to buy it. Back then, we couldn't.
Yeah,
that's different.
No, couldn't.
Now,
no, couldn't.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I do now, and that's what you should be doing. But if you don't want to, that I can't help you. But yeah.
Okay. All right, good. Yeah.
Shout out to
Good point.
Valkyrie. Yeah,
All right. Before I get to M, for the main event, shout out to Rufus. Thank you for the super chat. Says it used to be ponies pay, we play. Not anymore. Man. It's just so funny. It's hilarious, right? Thank you so much. That is funny. And Glassdoor Gamer with another super chat, thank you, says Xbox needs to rip the band-aid off. They are stuck in an infinite loop. Xbots are like the guys who got mental trying to win back their cheating girlfriend. Okay.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That was wow. That's
You don't want her
Watch
back. You never want her back. Trust me.
that
Yeah.
is that is impactful. That is an
That is
impactful
crazy.
that
Ouch.
is that impactful, super chat right there. Okay, all right.
That Xbox
Thank-
community is a bunch of
That's
blue
gonna hurt the
pill.
Xbox people.
Yeah.
That's
Then
gonna
he
hurt.
said they blue pill. He said about the Xbox, they took the
Oh
blue
man.
pill.
Oh
Man.
man. Oh, here we
Oh
go.
man.
All right, all right.
Man.
Now we're gonna kick it off to M, who's been adamant
here
about
we
Game
go.
Pass, very
There you go.
adamant for a long
Put my
time.
controller
Now,
down.
now you get
guys-
now
you
you
guys
now you
have
get
to
your
talk about
flowers. Now you get your flowers because you've
Because
been
I just
very
the
adamant.
whole setting this thing up because then people are going to expect something crazy.
But you know what's funny?
Very normal.
There was a tweet that showed. There was a tweet that showed, or something that I think it was whether it was LinkedIn or somewhere, where Asha, where Sean Layden made his comment, and then Asha, replied to him and said, "Hey, we need to link up." And I'm thinking, just link up to M. You don't even need to link up. Just watch an old episode of my podcast. The answer's there. He gave the answer for free.
He gave you a lot of flowers on Friday. I'm just throwing
yeah,
that out there.
yeah, he gave the answers for
lot of
free. So
flowers.
Asha, just watch the podcast. You will go in a good direction. It's all here. It's all free. All right, what's up,
The
man?
best things in life are free, right? So,
Exactly.
there we go. Listen, I think first of all, obviously we were right, and we can
Like that.
say that and everything like
Oh,
that. But it
yes.
wasn't just me; it was very much anybody with a brain. It just never made any sense. So
Cheaping it. He's like anybody who could, anybody who could chew gum and walk.
Moment you even
Dude,
think
yeah.
about it, yeah,
It's true.
like
It is
if you
simple.
can walk,
It wasn't that hard.
and write, you could have thought that yeah, this didn't make sense. But you know what? Some people were feeling a little bit what is it? A little bit more delusional than they should have. It is what it is. It happens. But I find it interesting, right? That people look at this as a winning move because to me that's the conversation. Because here is how I see it. Back in, let's say, 2024, 2025, at some point, Microsoft realized that, hey, putting Call of Duty was the dumbest move ever. So then they realized, hey, the next smartest move that we can do is take it off the service. But then they realized, probably for the first time in their life, that there was an even smarter move to do before the smart move. And that is put the price of Game Pass all the way up, let it sit there for a few months so that people hate it, and then lower that price, right? And remove Call of Duty, but the new price happens to be higher than what the old price was. So, for example, it was $20, right? It was $19.99. I'm just going in simple figures. It was $20.
I think I could
They
put it on the
realized they could
screen.
not remove. Pardon?
I think I could put it on the screen because somebody
Yeah, you
did
can put it on
that.
the screen. The old
Yeah.
price.
Yeah.
So the old price from way back when, there was $20 for Game Pass Ultimate. They realized that they needed to remove Call of Duty from Game Pass, but they couldn't just remove it, because then people would be like, "Oh, what the fuck did you do?" So what you do is that you intentionally put it way too high, so they put it at $30. They knew from the beginning that you weren't going to like it, and they knew that it was not sustainable, and they knew that it was going to cause a lot of backlash. But you see, what you do now is that you put it up at $30 so that later on you can remove Game Pass, make it look like a favor to you, while reducing the price slightly, but still ending up higher than you were. This is called pushing the Overton window. It is when you take 2 steps forward and you take about 10 steps forward and then you take 8 steps back. And then people are very grateful that you went 8 steps back, not realizing that you're 2 steps forward of where you used to be. So a lot of people are now seeing this as a price reduction when it was still a price increase. Think about it. You had Call of Duty about a year ago. You had Call of Duty in Game Pass for $20. Now they're telling you you get no Call of Duty and it's $23. You've literally lost value. People are calling this a W, but it's like a very common tactic, that people do. They go way too far. Again, they take 10 steps, and that's way over the line, and they know that, but they know that they will come back. But when they are coming back, they're taking away something from you, but you only see, the fact that they have backtracked a little bit. And you don't think to yourself, wait a second, this is worse than it used to be, So that's exactly what they did. It's a common play. and everybody's falling for it. Everybody online is praising this, and I'm like, you guys, how do you not see that? How do you not see that you're paying $3 more for getting less value overall within like the span of a year? And you think that it was because Asha Sharma came in? Like that's crazy. Which, by the way, chef's kiss. The fact that they also thought to themselves, you know what we'll do? We'll bring in a new person, and then we'll make it seem like that person is the reason that we're doing this. Like this, it's just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece of theater. You know, people should really congratulate Xbox on that. I do. I think that is fantastic that they were able to pull that off. And yeah, if you think that this is a win for gamers or for Xbox gamers, I'm sorry, but you've been fooled. You fell for it. That's just what it is. You know, they played it well. They made it seem like everything was going well, and then unfortunately, there are people like me that exist to point out to you that they just hoodwinked you. So I'm sorry, Chill Will. I'm sorry, Sean. I'm sorry, everybody else that thought that got. But it's okay. That's why you have me as a friend, because when your friend sees you fall for the hooky dog, they've got to tell you. They've got to let you know, hey, buddy, they got you. Don't let them get you. They're gonna catch you. Okay, you better get ready because these people, you know, sometimes they use psychological mind tricks like that. So yeah, this is a loss. Now, of course, that being said, Call of Duty needed to go. Like that's the thing. It needed to be done. But you know, I just don't like the fact that people are giving them praise for something when they've actually lost value rather than gained value. But it is what it is.
Got a point.
So I put everything on the screen. So he was talking about the farther along. But like he said, if you look at September 2024, they raised the price to $20, and that was because that was the year they put Call of Duty Day and Date in October 2024. So that year you got Call of Duty Day and Date for $20 a month. Then a year later, in October, they just dramatically raised the price by 50% to $30, and nothing else was added. It was just the fact that people assumed Call of Duty was the main contributor, which probably was because they probably didn't realize how much money they would lose, right? So they probably thinking, man, we got to jump this up and make up, the money that we're losing. But the reality is this, and M and Will and a lot of people online are saying, in 2024 you got Call of Duty Day and Day for $20. Now in April 2026 you don't get Call of Duty, but you're paying $23. So it's a $3 a month increase with less content, and that's how some people see it. Yeah, some people see it that way. Some people are saying, "No, this is not a, Microsoft's not doing any favors. They're charging us more for less because they had Call of Duty. It's kind of like Amazon. I got to pay more to get 4K back, and if it wasn't for my wife, I would have won that war, but I lost that war badly. But anyway, that's
You better you better say that quietly. You better say that quietly. If it wasn't for somebody.
No, she knows, but she don't give a damn. That's the beautiful part. My wife says, she's like, listen, you could complain, but you're gonna do it anyway. So I'm like, fine, just let me complain, but I'll do it. But I get the point some people have. Some people said that they had Game Pass with Call of Duty for $20 a month. Now they have it. Now they have Game Pass with no Call of Duty for $23 a month. So they're thinking, so what are we getting for $23 a month? And I think some people never like Call of Duty at all, so they don't really care. But I'm thinking, from $29.99 let's say from $30 to $23, it is a $7 difference, right? But I think that $7, there's going to be a tax to that too. It's not just going to stop at Call of Duty. Blade, that was a good call. And the reason why I didn't even think about that, but it makes absolute sense because it is a Marvel property.
You can pull up the trailer right now too. They do not have Game Pass anywhere on that trailer.
That's a good call. I didn't even think about that. I'm thinking of Elder Scrolls. The reason why Elder Scrolls popped in my mind in this conversation was because Skyrim ended up selling like 60 million after the remasters and remakes and being everywhere. That is a lot for that particular title. So in my mind, I'm thinking, man, if they expect, another 20, 30, 40, 50 million selling thing, Game Pass will interfere with that. Game Pass will absolutely interfere with an equivalent of what Skyrim was able to accomplish. So I'm thinking in my head, man, I don't think Elder Scrolls is going to be there, but Blade's a good one. simply because it is a Marvel IP, and like you got the licensing behind it. So you're not only paying all the normal stuff that comes with a first party IP. On top of that, you're paying for licensing. And you don't want that to flop, because if Blade ends up flopping, Marvel's gonna be like, yeah, we're done working with you guys, because they expect some premium, they want their titles to be big, So that's why I think like Sony, they could ask for whatever the hell they want from Marvel, and Marvel's gonna give it to them. Because the whole point of Marvel game studios now, and their first attempt with Sony with Spider-Man, because they wanted to change their image. They want their games to be as big as their properties in the movies. Their movies went from like low budget, or like decent sales, to now big blockbuster phenoms, right? At least, for a lot of them. Some titles obviously flopped, whatever, but for the most part, they want the Marvel game universe to be as big as the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They want that big, push and stuff. Sony did that with Spider-Man. I'm sure Sony's gonna, have another success with Wolverine. So I think Marvel's very happy with Sony, doing their share, right? Well, other places,
doing my
I don't
part.
know. Sony's doing their part, right? So Blade's got to be a big title. It's got to sell a lot. I would imagine Blade wants 10 plus million. Marvel wants to see that. I'm sure Xbox wants to see that. 10 plus million. You're not going to get 10 plus million when you put it on Game Pass. It's just not going to happen.
I'm telling you.
So
And
that's actually a good one.
Why the reveal trailer didn't say Game Pass at all.
That's a good one. That is a good call. That's a more immediate impact, because there's still some time for Elder Scrolls, right?
Elder Scrolls. Blade was revealed in 2023. That's for sure coming out before.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, is it still being developed?
Yeah, that's a good question. Someone asked that when I was doing my take. I don't know. That is a good question.
I haven't heard anything about it. No updates.
They haven't shown nothing.
And something like that, you don't want to keep quiet. That's not like a Marvel title. You're like one of the things about a title like that. And I know he doesn't like what's the term you use them? Guys who like information early.
The road mappers?
The road mappers, yeah. Road mappers, right? The road mappers, right? You love road mapping. What does it do for you? But I think something like any Marvel property, it benefits from road map, because because they did it with Spider-Man. They kept talking about it and talking about it and talking about it month after month. They put a lot of things. So I think something like a Marvel property constantly being talked about, it benefits the hype and the growth or whatever. And I'm pretty sure they want to see Blade be a very successful title, not just like a 1-2 million thing. They want, I would imagine they're looking at 10 million plus for that game across all platforms, obviously, right? At least, so that's a good point.
Yeah, if we don't see that game at their summer showcase, then because it was announced at the Game Awards in 2023. If we don't see anything or hear anything about it at their summer showcase, then I think there's some trouble behind the scenes.
Maybe. Interesting. Okay. So that's a good one.
Another thing I just want. Oh, you go in.
Okay, thanks. I also think that what you said is true. That this is basically helps the start of something, because they'll be able to ride out this wave of, oh, we gave you the Game Pass for $7 less for more than just one game. So I do think that people will, if they lose, for example, just as an example, if they lose Blade, they'll be like, well, it's Marvel, okay. If they lose something like Fable, and I'm not saying that Fable isn't going to go into Game Pass, I think they've already made that promise. But if they were to lose something coming up like a Fable, they'll say like, well, at least we're not paying $30 again. So that's what you do. You traumatize them, and if you people want a little bit of drama to this, it's a bit like a man that beats his wife, just beats her black and blue. Just completely.
Oh,
right?
wow.
Exactly. And then, you know what? He says, it's okay, I'll get better. So then he just slaps her, right? And then she's like, well, at least I'm not going to the emergency room this time. And then she's okay with it for a while. That's the thing. That's what Microsoft is doing to you. He's beating you he beat you black and blue. And now he's saying, hey, guess what? I'll only slap you in the face. Okay? So, there's that. And you're still suffering violence. Financially speaking, financial violence, domestic financial violence. is happening to you. So go ahead and
that girl needs to get a taser or a shotgun.
there you go.
Oh,
Fight
man.
back. Fight back, people. Fight back. You don't have
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
suffer this.
Yeah.
And it's not love. You can get out of this relationship.
Ac-
Xbox doesn't love you.
Actually, and I think there was a really quiet, I wouldn't call it fight back, but as I said, they realized that they put it up too much because a lot of people didn't renew. A lot of people are not extending it because the price, I think whatever the 29, it was just ridiculously high. And if you crunch the numbers, any sane gamer will realize, hang on a minute, I could buy at least one game every 2 months. It's just that that doesn't make any sense. I'd rather just buy my games, the games that I like to buy, because Pragmata is not on it, right? Requiem is not on it. So why am I paying for this particular services that is not delivering the value that I wanted? And the other thing I would say is another aspect that is not being discussed here is the PC, right? PC Game Pass. Apparently, they say, "Oh, PC Game Pass is the one that is growing." So I think it has to be included in this discussion. And PC Game Pass is losing a title. Now the price is not changing because PC gamers are cheap bastards. But they were getting COD on Game Pass. Now they're not. So are you guys seeing that tomorrow all the PC guys are gonna come out and say, oh, they should actually decrease the PC Game Pass, price because
think
you
they
used to
did.
get COD, now you don't. Oh,
I think they did decrease it. Yeah, by $3 also. So PC Game Pass also
okay.
got. So it went from
Oh,
16
wow.
to $13.
So what you're saying is PC gamers are even more cheap bastards.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
Legit.
I
Okay,
just want to
cool.
just a quick. First of all, yes, but a quick correction is that you saying that they realized that the price was too high. They didn't realize. They planned it. Again, you guys are insane if you think that this was a mistake or like a like.
No.
Did anyone need to realize that $30 too much? Like it wasn't a realization anybody needed to have. No, it was planned. It was planned because they wanted to remove Call of Duty, but they could not just remove it, and be like, yeah, even if you were still just paying $20 a month, you can't just remove Call of Duty and be like, okay, keep paying $20 a month, right? People will get way more upset about that. So what you do is you go too far, then you really back a little bit, and it's even better if you land ahead of where you were before, So it's a bit like to use a much more family-friendly analogy, it's a bit like in football, real football, not one of whatever you guys play over there, right? When the person is about to score and you're the last defender, and you know that if you let this man go, he's going to score the goal. So what you do is that you tackle him from behind, you get your red card, but at least you've given your team a chance to not incur another goal. That's it,
Yeah.
So you take the red card on purpose, you take the penalty on purpose, so that you can hopefully end up ahead and win the game. That's exactly what Microsoft did. They took the penalty of seeing all the backlash for $30. They knew they were going to get that penalty. There was no realization. There was no discovery that, oh, people don't want to pay for this. They planned for it. And then they're like, hey, you know what? We'll take this little hit now so that we can do what we actually want to do and win the game later. So again, people have to stop acting as if these billion-dollar companies cannot put like, if you look at the price the first time, you're like, oh, that's too much. Like, do you think the people putting it together didn't realize you would think that? Come on now, be smart.
Okay, and I
That's
can
a
see
good
that
point.
because they're doing this right before Forza 6. Yeah, they're doing this right before Forza 6. So now they can advertise Forza 6 is coming, and that's actually now it's cheaper. Game Pass is cheaper. Yeah, I can see that definitely.
And it's a common thing they do in retail. Like in retail, they do that. They will release something. They will price, I don't know, a kayak at $1,000, which of course no one's going to buy. Then suddenly it's like, oh, guess what? We've got a club price if you join our loyalty program, and it's $300. Like, they know what they're doing, or they raise it, and then suddenly it's like, oh, we're having a massive sale. Look, it went down. They manipulate you constantly.
Oh yeah,
definitely. I mean,
And
Coles in Australia was accused of doing that, right? They will put a price up for like $10, then they will say, oh, there's a sell price at $8. But what you didn't realize that 2 months ago, the price was $7. So the sale price is $1 more than it used to be. And they got caught by our the ACCC, which is our competitive committee for consumers protection and everything like that. And they got fined, but it wasn't enough. Obviously, there's the same thing. They knew they were gonna get fined for it, but they were like, "We'll make more money from doing this thing than the fine will have to pay." So then they do it because the fine is like a slap on the wrist. Yeah.
That's a good point, man. It's like if this was just like a strategic type of how would you say, kind of like an experiment, like, you know what, because it was a drastic price increase. Like I don't think any subscription service did a price jump, like a 50% price jump.
50%?
Yeah, none.
It's unheard of.
None, yeah, nobody ever. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, no, not even Disney was that crazy. You know, and they have,
there, but I'm not doing it in one swoop.
Yeah, so that's probably not a bad assumption. Be like, you know, do the 50% thing just to see how it is. We could always dial it back, but like you said, we'll go 8 steps hard, and then 10 steps hard, but then we'll go 8 steps back, but we're still 2 steps ahead. And the Call of Duty experiment, they got rid of it. That's the big one. Call of Duty was always a bad idea, but I think they had to at least give the appearance that they were gonna keep their promise, you know, especially with the whole ABK thing, how they got the community involved, and how ABK. I mean, technically, you know what's interesting? They told ABK it's gonna be on Game Pass, available everywhere, you know. So they probably had to do all that stuff, and now they have the bandwidth to be like, yeah, we're taking Call of Duty off of Game Pass. We're gonna reduce the price, but we're still making more money as compared to the original $20 price tag. So, you know, instead of 20, they're making 23 per month. See how that works out. But I think there's going to be some titles that's coming off, you know, and I think there's going to be a lot less third-party deals because those are really expensive. Maybe not from indies. I think indies they'll be able to doing it, but there might be a reduction of big AAA titles being day and date on Game Pass 2 as well. Really, the answer is just copy what PlayStation does. Just literally copy what they did. You know, they said it from the beginning. Sean Layden said it. A lot of people talked about it. You know, where a subscription service really shines is with catalog titles. Once the catalog titles already, you know, the sales are down, it's been out for a while, the tail has ended. It's really about, you know, can you take all these catalog titles that's on the shelf that most people already played and bought, and maybe if anyone's interested, it's when it's like $5. How about if you take this whole collection and put it in an appealing subscription where you have access to it, and you're not paying a lot of money to it? You know, it's kind of like pretty much what PlayStation does. I also think it's kind of good for indies in a way, right? Because indies are smaller budget, and because they're smaller budget, they don't have the marketing of the big AAAs, right? If you look at the big AAAs, they always dominate the airwaves, the social media, and then the charts, right? So a lot of indie games don't get the bandwidth or breathing room to really say, "Hey, we're here. What about us?" A subscription service is a good way, you know, day one on the subscription service is a good way to get those indie games noticed. It's not that I think impactful to the revenue because they're smaller titles. So I think for indie games they won, smaller titles they won is a good deal, right? But the big AAAs, yeah, it's never gonna work out. And I think more are coming. But I think Blade, now that Chill Will mentioned Blade, I think that's a good candidate. Where we might see that as not appearing day one. I think where it's gonna be a big shocker, I think where it's really gonna Microsoft, I don't know if Microsoft will attempt to do it, but like games like Gears E Day, right? I wonder if they would say, "Hey, E Day's not going to be day one on Game Pass." I wonder if they'll go that far. That's going to be interesting if they go that far. Something like E Day, because you know Gears has been in a little bit of rut, you know, over time. It seems like they put a lot of work into this, right? They want to bring back that Gears fan base. So I
6
wonder.
years for E Day.
Yeah. So I wonder if this game might also be exempt simply because of that, you know? Because it can't just be Call of Duty, because Call of Duty by itself don't fix the problem.
That's gonna piss a lot of people off if it is Gears. Like, not only is it going to PlayStation and it's not going, that's gonna piss a lot of people off, dog.
You know, that's gonna be
great
interesting.
content.
It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. All right.
It will be.
All right. Let me go before we move on to the next topic. We got some super chats. We got Marco81. Thank you for the super chat. He says, "I don't do this ever, but I really need to share one of my best takes last year." So that's on his Twitter. Please click on it, and he hits his take on that one. Let's see. Let's see what he says. Let's see what's your best take. Let's see. Let me put on. Let me put on the screen. Let me put on the screen. All right. Marco Brian East. He says, "So beyond all this pocket watching and Twitter PC builders trying to build their PS5 Pro killer, I've been thinking about who is this new console for." Now, keep in mind, this is September 2014. So this is before the Pro launch. So the Pro is not even out yet. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Easy answer is the enthusiast with deeper pockets, and sure, I won't argue against that. But I can consider one other angle. Imagine someone enjoying the PS5 feature set, and for what it offers, the exclusive games, first party, third party, time, whatever, are great. You keep hearing about the PC guys who say that the exclusivity doesn't matter. They'll get it eventually, and it'll look better. And sure, respect for the people patiently waiting. That's fine. What if Sony sees this discourse and thinks, if the PS5 Pro can get closer to rivaling PC level of fidelity, and not matching or exceeding, just get in that space, how many of those guys thinking of PC builds would rather pick up a Pro and forget about building a PC and spending more out of pocket for a less of a difference in putting them into the ecosystem? There's got to be a business angle they want to play here.
Wow.
Interesting.
Fucking
Good point.
called that, didn't he?
Nice. Good play. And then especially now they're not putting their games on PC, the first party, which also probably means they're not really, it's just not really worth it for them. I know some PC gamers are like, oh, it's not official. I'm like, the last game Sony put on PC was Spider-Man 2 from their first party. And that was 2020. That was the last game. We haven't seen a game since. And there's no Gran Turismo, you know what I'm saying?
No Astro Boy.
No Astro. So we'll see. Astrobot, yeah. So that's a great tweet, man. Great tweet on that one. Good call.
Yeah, that was
Good
a great
on that
tweet, brother.
And I like the part, like, it doesn't have to beat PC, right? Because in order for Pro to beat PC, it has to be like $5,000. Because at the end of the day, you're always gonna use the highest spec PC. Like, you can always say, all right, PlayStation's better than a 4060 Ti or this one. Oh no, but we got the 47. And then maybe they get up there. Oh yeah, now we're at the 47. Oh, but we got the 4080. You're always gonna throw a new GPU configuration to beat the PS5 Pro, right? So unless the PS5 Pro is $5,000, which is the cost of a 5090, obviously it's not gonna beat the most powerful. And then you guys will overclock it. But I can overclock the 5090. It's always gonna be something. Consoles don't come out annually with more beefier hardware. That's just not the realistic, right? So really, it's just how well a console could be designed to get into that PC space of technology, right? And Pro, I mean, even the PS5 and the Xbox Series X did a good job, but the Pro's really doing a phenomenal job with its AI upscaling, ray tracing. It's doing a fantastic job of that, and that's all it is. It doesn't have to be a 5090 whatever, But some of these PC guys, I had a combo. They're saying, "Oh, my PC of 10 years ago is better than a Pro," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, you're muted. I just muted." I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like, even another PC guy was like, "Okay, stop." I saw that reply. The PC guy was like, "All right, now you're being stupid. Like, you're 10 years. That's not even happening." And stuff. So conversation's not worth it. Like I said, just mute, and that's all I'm going to do. But appreciate great super chat, right? Great super chat, Marco. We got Pat Mayas. Okay. Thank you for the super chat. He says, please bring in more people with different opinions. This stable's starting to smell like a PS echo chamber. Also, please turn off M's camera. Blessings, pre-rock. So here's the problem, Pat Mayas. Here's the problem. The people you want are too scared to come. Think about it. This whole crew. Yeah, I don't know.
What's wrong with my camera?
He probably don't like black people. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, I'm just playing. I'm playing. But Pat, how about this? Listen, everybody on this panel pretty much came out of the chat. Literally, one guy snuck in on his own. He just came in. Dude apologized like, yo, my bad for jumping in. You know, literally, Pat.
shout out to
Anybody,
Doughboy, shout
listen,
out
Pat.
Doughboy.
You do this. You ask who you want to come, and you tell them, hey, show up on P Rock's thing. They're not coming. And so I gave up. I just, bro. I even had a Friday Night Live with just me, and you know that way they could avoid the rest of the panel. They're not coming, man. The people you're saying this table's starting to stink. They're not coming, bro. They're not about that life. Anybody's invited and welcome to come here. What?
Who made this comment?
Who?
Who made this comment?
Oh, right there.
Oh,
Pat Maya,
go,
super chat.
Scroll to the super chat.
Matter of
Go to
fact,
super chat.
Am try to go to another podcast. It's like, hey, let me hop on, and
They blocked them.
Yeah.
they blocked them.
Yo, listen, Pat, listen. First of all, rude. Second of all,
It's at first rude.
Yeah.
listen. Second of all, you come to the channel. You come on the podcast,
Yeah, you
and
could
have a
come.
different opinion.
Ooh.
Why are you asking other people to come? You come on,
Ooh.
and then you have a difference of opinion. Like,
Exactly.
let's do it.
Ooh.
And I don't mean this
Well,
as
you
a
know what?
challenge. I just mean
No,
this
but
as,
literally,
I
no,
remember
Pat.
the
He's
way-
not. Yeah, but hold up, Pat. We're not doing a talk shit. Like literally, almost everybody in this, like everybody you're seeing right now, just came out of nowhere. I don't block anybody. There's no interview. I don't have like, all right, we gotta do 3 rounds of interview. Send me your resume, and then I need you to pass an Excel spreadsheet test. Like, there's none of that. It's literally like, do you have Discord and a mic and a headset? That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
They don't have a Discord.
Yeah, you know exactly. You know, just if you have a Discord, you could jump on. You know, so Pat, you
Listen,
could if you
and the
think
reason I'm saying
you're more than
this-
welcome to.
It's not a challenge. I'm not trying to like goad you on, but I'm just saying that the reason that I got onto this podcast is because they were saying things that I didn't agree with.
That's
and
true.
no one else was saying the things that I did agree with. So I decided to jump on. So if we are saying things you don't agree with, you just come on and then you say your piece. And you know, whether you're regular or not, or you just only come on whenever you feel like we are completely, you know, off the mark, that's it. Just do that. And you know, then you can tell me why you don't like my camera, racist person. It's because my camera is black, isn't it? I'm black and my camera is black. Ridiculous.
Oh man. But I appreciate the super chat. But hey, listen,
Yeah.
I'm no, but in all seriousness, a lot of the people that you're probably looking for to have a different opinion, they're not down with that. The days of you missed out on the golden era of podcasting last gen, because I was able to get all types of people in the podcast. I completely had crazy out of bounds stuff. Now it's over.
Even last year he had, you know, Xbox guys. One of them just doesn't even do social media no more. But we just
Look,
don't
oh,
know.
oh yeah, that person disappeared. I didn't mean
Look
to
here,
like
Bubba
end
boy.
it. I didn't mean to end his grift, but it was just I didn't think it was gonna turn out that way. He just
Wait, what
Hang
happened?
on.
When
We
he got
don't all
attacked by
always
the
Bruvian.
Xbox guys.
Okay.
Bruvian's
when he got
gone.
attacked by
That was the last time he
Xbox
was
guys.
on. You didn't know that? The last time people seen Bruvian was on my podcast. After that, he went dark.
Wait, Wavian is gone?
Yeah.
Have you not noticed?
Have
Bro
you-
hasn't put out.
I hope everything's okay. I hope everything's okay. But the last social media content he did was when he was on my channel and we debated. After that debate, not
after
even a
the
tweet.
debate, he was getting lit up by Xbox guys, and then he put out a video right after talking about Halo Campaign Evolved. He was like, "Oh, you PlayStation guys better be ready because the Xbox guys don't play with multiplayer," and everyone lit him up for that. Like, dick, it doesn't have multiplayer. So just,
Oh
Obviously,
shit!
That's not on P Rock.
he
That
was
was-
getting
That's
me-
not on me then. Yeah,
he was
I'm
getting me
hiring. I'm
both
hiring
ways.
Valkyrie as my lawyer. Go defend me. Your pro bono work. It's pro bono. It's pro bono. This is part of your pro bono duties. You're not getting paid for this. It's pro bono duties.
Hey,
That's
Pat,
not on me. If that's what did it, whoo! Because I was feeling bad. Whoo! I think he got exposed. Oh yeah, I remember
went
that.
after his ass, and then his own chat fucked him up on that Campaign Evolved thing.
They're probably like, "What the fuck are you talking about? There's no multiplayer. You fraud."
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
that was just dumb on his part. That's like me having a go at M about something that he knows everything about, and he schools me, and then I go cry. Like that's dumb.
Just like,
like I ain't gonna
I feel
do
so
that.
much better. I thought it was me.
Don't
I guess it's not me.
There's absolutely nothing I know everything about. You
It's-
couldn't even you couldn't even accidentally.
He wrote back though. Check his super chat real quick, Pat.
Okay, let me see. All right, let's see it. Let me do the next one. Gordo, first party only tier with no day and date incoming. I could see that for PlayStation, like just a curated catalog. Like, let me put it this way: if for those that have the PlayStation, if Microsoft put a Game Pass with just their own titles and their own third party exclusive titles, that's not on PlayStation, right? That's already out and it's like $10 a month. Would you subscribe?
If it was just Xbox,
Yeah, just their Xbox titles.
nah.
And
I kind of said it during my take. They would have to make it exclusive for me to want to go back and turn on my Xbox because everything's coming to the Pro anyways.
Okay. No, but on PlayStation though, for their Playstation, would you subscribe to Game Pass on PlayStation? On PlayStation. On PlayStation.
Sorry, I'm kind of stupid.
Give me that backiotomy on your brain. I'm saying if they did a first party and like third party exclusive, like anything that's specifically related to them, that Sony allows it, and it's a Game Pass for PlayStation, $10 a month, or something like that.
They could. They already let Ubisoft Forward and EA Play.
But would you
sign
up for it? Who sign up for it? Would anybody sign up for that?
I don't think I still wouldn't because it'd be cheaper to buy a handful of games. I mean, oh fuck, $10
a month.
Well, and they're in the same spot they're in now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because $10 is what.
But it won't be day and. Well, you know what? Would they do day and date though for $10? I don't think they would do day and date for $10 on PlayStation. Nah. It wouldn't be day and date. But that would be crazy. You're not gonna give Gears of War E-Day for $10 day and date. Hell, even Sony wouldn't allow that shit. They'd be like, get the fuck out of here. We want out 30%. Listen. I could just imagine Sony be like, listen, Michael, sit down. Do you want us to run your business for you in the shadows? Because you guys clearly don't know what you're doing. You're not going to cut us out of our 30% over this nonsense. Like, no. So probably, who knows how that work out.
To be tough. I wouldn't subscribe to it simply because I already have access to Game Pass. Like, I think I've said this before on this podcast. I have every way to play Xbox games besides an Xbox console. So I have access to Game Pass. I'm not subscribed to it. And the reason is that the games are not worth the subscription to me. That's just me, I think, they are at the demand of Midipus. It's what I've said before. Mid games for a cheaper price is not compelling when it's on PC, because I have a PC, I have access to Game Pass with that. And even on PlayStation, which is my preferred platform, like, no. In fact, I don't even like mid games from anyone on my PlayStation, because my PlayStation is connected to my TV. And my TV is only for great games, so it's just like, no, I do not,
Nothing for Midipus.
From Mount Midipus,
nothing grown in the mountains of Midipus. That is all right, cool, all right.
No. It's rarefied air over here at PlayStation. PlayStation Mountain is for only those that can support those high altitude gaming, and Mount Midipus is just a molehill at the end of the day. So, now to me, I will not participate in that. But I can see people, for example, like, I don't know if this is a topic, but I think they said that Starfield sold extremely well this particular week on PlayStation, right? I think I saw a report about that. And this is something that I'd already said before, that I do not trust the PlayStation Nation. Once they have Starfield, they are going to support it, in a big way, at least at the beginning. So I feel like those people who, for example, would want access to an Elder Scrolls game or another Bethesda game, might be able to look at that and be like, okay, maybe I wait a year or two, but then it will be on PlayStation, which means that I don't need to go and buy another console. I don't need to convert to PC or whatever. And then it will be given to me at a cheaper price. So potentially they might be interested in doing that. But the problem is that I feel like those same people, if they're going to go and buy a Bethesda game, if they're going to go and buy, any game from Microsoft, I feel like at that point they won't wait the 1 or 2 years, right? Because if a person is excited to play the Elder Scrolls 6 and it's available day one on PlayStation, which is their preferred platform, I don't see them waiting a year or two just to be able to play them, at $10 when they're really. I mean, they've already waited like by the time the Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, it would be like 18 years or something. So you're gonna wait 18 years and be like, yeah, I can wait 2 more. Like, boy, you might not make it. Like, just go and pay the 60, 70, or $80 and participate in your fandom. So for all of those reasons, I mean, I would like the move to just to see it, but I also feel like a lot of PlayStation gamers don't really report subscribing to like EA Play or Ubisoft Plus, or like I don't think that's part of the conversation ever. So other third-party publishers that already have access to that kind of a thing on PlayStation, they don't really ever talk about it like, oh, we made so much money from EA Play or PlayStation Plus, just sorry, on the PlayStation subs that they have available through there. So I don't think it's working. Anyways, my thoughts.
All right, cool. All right, appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let me go further down. Let's see, try to catch up. We got Gordo. Okay, we got Russell. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Russell says Game Pass is a scam. I challenge any Xbox sucker to prove me wrong, and we'll donate 500 to charity.
Shout out to him.
Shout out to Russell.
He's been saying that for a while.
He said, "I challenge you. It's a scam." Damn it! I do it like in a Dave Chappelle show, in a Dave Chappelle voice. It's a scam. Shout out to Russell.
Shout out to Russell, man.
He said he put money on wood. He says 500 to your favorite charity. My favorite charity is the get Valkyrie the PS5 Pro fund.
Yes.
That's my charity. Get her the PS5 Pro fund.
Yes.
She said yes.
Please.
Oh, Glitzer. We're like with 500, we're halfway there. Well, I mean, just under halfway.
Do you want to hear my favorite charity? My favorite charity is Extreme still doesn't have a PlayStation gaming partner. It's crazy. It's insane.
No one to share with.
Sean is right there. It's so funny how that is. Sean that has access to all of these games early. If I were to be a game share partner with anybody, it would be insane if you
gotta put in the work, man.
I could have been playing Pragmata early, but that's
gotta
crazy
put in the
how
work.
I don't have a game share partner, man.
Yes, to Pragmata.
Oh man,
that's
funny.
my favorite charity. My favorite charity
Pragmata
is
is
Extreme.
good.
It's
He said that's his
specific
charity.
game share partner that may have 1,000 platinums every single week. That's the kind of game share partner I'm looking for.
Capcom.
Oh,
we gotta
man.
talk.
Oh, all right.
D Silver. I got a whole bunch of them. A couple of them.
Man, God bless you. All right, Glenzer, thank you for the super chat. He says it's a PS echo chamber because the panels is gamers, And like I said, I welcome any gamers. It's the podcast is called 60 frames no lag. It's just that not a lot of people have the heart. Pat Maya says, I can gladly come in. I'm the last few from the Xbox Defense Force and would love to discuss your wrong takes. I have this mic and camera. Ooh, I love it. What's your name? Also, all jokes, I've always been super chatting that since they told you that comment on Blaze 4K's podcast. Oh, so I guess it's inside joke.
A little bit of history
the camera.
behind it. Okay.
The camera. So I guess the camera thing was on Blaze 4K.
Listen, the camera thing is a sensitive.
Xbox. I hope that whole thing burned to the ground. I hope your whole damn system go down to. I hope it burned down to the ground. I swear.
When I was 16 years old, I
hate Xbox.
I was shy about. Okay, my God, the hatred for Xbox is crazy. Anyways, what I was trying to tell you, Pat, is that when I was 16 years old, I was shy about the way that I looked. Okay, when I was 26 years old, I was shy about the way that I sounded. Well, now that I'm like nearly 36, I'm shy about the way my camera is. So that's a sensitive topic, okay?
So it's just like leave the camera alone. Make fun of his looks, okay? Make fun of his sounds, but leave the camera alone. Leave the camera alone.
The camera lens, because it's just like, man, I'm just like, I need to upgrade that lens. It's an insecurity of mine,
Okay, so let's see. So Pat, let me know. Hit me either hit me up on Twitter. Let me see. Did you send me a message on Twitter? Either hit me up on Twitter. Send me a message so I know what your name is, and I will send you a link right now.
I hope his whole platform burned down to the ground, and I'll say it to his face.
Oh, he DM'd me on Twitter?
No, I'm saying aren't your DMs closed? Because we've had this conversation before where people try to DM you.
I don't know. No, it's because I don't know because I don't pay for premium, so it's not like it's locked or anything. I'm done with premium, so I don't know why people I don't know, maybe this is a setting. I think this is probably a setting.
Well, Pat, if you can
Pat,
DM him,
put your.
DM me as well. That
Oh,
way,
yeah.
I will forward it if his things are closed. Because
Send you a picture of his camera.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and we can. I'll be like, it's good. It's good. I swear.
Look,
Please.
tell him to come on. I'm gonna burn his.
But he says he's the last of the Xbox Defense Force, so I would love an Xbox Defender on the podcast.
Yeah, honestly, I would like that too.
I need an Xbox Defender.
No, I would like that too because the last couple weeks we've just had him go into the chat and not want to step up. You know.
Oh, it was him. Oh, he was the one that was causing trouble.
No, it wasn't him. I'm just saying we've had trolls in the chat, but they don't have balls to do your disagreement days. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
They're very quiet on your disagreement days.
Oh yeah. So that's why I stopped. I'm like, it's not even worth it. Most of the people that were going on were just, you know, and I appreciate it, but that's not like some people on the side were complaining like we're not like it's disagreement day, not agreement day. And I was like, I can't help it. Like nobody wants to come and disagree.
Not both people.
Yeah, I'm actually part of that. When I went on disagreement day, I was just shooting the shit.
Yeah, you know. Oh shit!
I just got done with Death Stranding 2.
Corey said, "I heard P Rock paying for Netflix 4K and blue check mark on Twitter." Well, not the blue check mark. I'm done with that shit. I'm glad my shit ended. But the 4K on Amazon, I lost that battle.
Elon Musk, he has a wife.
I'm not giving that fool money. Hell no. Nah. You know what I'm saying? that bastard. All right. Okay. We're gonna move on to the next topic. And hopefully Pat could either, at least in the chat, put his Twitter name in there, or whatever. But next topic is, so, you know, a little time has passed since Yoshida left, right? So now he's very comfortable. Maybe his NDA is up. Maybe that's it. Maybe his NDA is up, right? His NDA is up.
We'll say that, yeah.
I think his NDA is up, and now he can go unfiltered and tell the behind the scenes of PlayStation. And the man pretty much said he was fired. He said it. And he said he was fired because he wouldn't do what Jim Ryan wanted him to do. And he said because, you know, it was stupid, you know. So let me put this on the screen. This is so funny. I love when people from the industry are now able to tell, you know, the full story, you know, because now there's a lot of NDAs and, you know, a lot of stuff. But when a little bit comes out like this, it's amazing. But he says, you know, Shuhei Yoshida says he was fired from being head of PlayStation First Party by Jim Ryan because he didn't listen to him. I helped Santa Monica to make God of War, Naughty Dog to make Uncharted, and The Last of Us, and Sucker Punch to make the beautiful Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima was one of the last games that I worked on as president of Worldwide Studios. But in 2019, after 11 years leading first-party development, I was fired from the role. Jim Ryan wanted to remove me from first party because I didn't listen to him. He asked to do some ridiculous things, and I said no. That's the reason why. The reason I'm not going to the article because there's just a lot of filler stuff. Shout out to Genki. He pretty much summarized it well. So
was he asking you to do everything naked? What the hell? No, I'm just playing.
So I'm saying 2019 is when Jim Ryan took over as CEO of PlayStation, right?
Yeah, he replaced Sean Layden.
Yeah, so no, Sean Layden was never the CEO. I didn't know that. He wasn't officially the CEO. What was it? Sean Layden? Yeah, like Sean Layden. Like who was CEO? Let me put that right now. Who was CEO
Andrew
of
House.
PlayStation? Andrew House. Yeah. Let me see before Jim Ryan. Let me see. Maybe it was. I know somebody said it wasn't. Oh no, it was Sean Layden. Yeah. So why did somebody say it wasn't Sean Layden? Sean Layden was CEO of Sony PlayStation before Jim Ryan, so it was Sean Layden.
I know.
He served as So 2014, 2019. I don't know why somebody said so. It was Sean Layden. So Sean Layden, and some people say it was abruptly left, and Jim Ryan took over. Now some say Jim Ryan didn't like the live service strategy. Jim Ryan took over. We don't know exactly what he asked Yoshida to do, but apparently Yoshida felt it was ridiculous and just said, nah, I'm not doing that, even though that's his boss. And Yoshida's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. We're not doing that. Not saying that it can't be done, but it's probably not going to be done under his leadership. He's just not doing that. So if you want these things done, you're going to have to pick a new leader. So he fired him, quiet firing, with the whole, downgrade to indies. And I think everybody was saying that.
With
Yeah. And that was the whole quiet downgrade. People try to say, no, he's just doing his passion. He don't want to do big stuff. I was always like, I don't know that works because technically you can still have passion with indies because you're the head of first party studios. So you can still deal with the indies from a higher position. So it's not like it locks you out of dealing with indies. He could have still done his stuff with indies while still doing stuff for AAA. So it seemed like it was a soft firing. But now he's saying that, yes, it's a soft firing, right? And whatchamacallit, Jim Ryan just didn't like look with it. Reason why, the topic of like, okay, he got fired, whatever. Really what I want to talk about is I think we could give a 6-year review of Jim Ryan, right? There was a lot of conversation about what he's going to bring to the table for PlayStation, why live service was a decision done, and I think it was all theoretical. First party games are becoming more expensive, live service makes a lot of money. This makes sense. Some people saying Sony needs to do this. They need to really start taking hold of multiplayer. I was always against it. I felt this is a bad strategy. But, it was all theoretical conversation at the time. This was early 2020, 2021. The whole PC thing, I would say these are a lot of attribution that Jim Ryan brought to the table. In my opinion, what Jim Ryan brought to the table, as a CEO, was primarily the push for live service and a deeper push into PC. I think that's why he did. But I think live service was really the big one. It was all theoretical on why he did it. Okay. But now that it's 2026 and we got more granular details, we saw some of the products. Well, really, we didn't see a lot of products. Most of them have been canceled. But we did see a few. We also saw the decision to buy Bungie. I think he was a head honcho in that. He was heavily involved in that. Primarily his idea, or maybe among ideas among other people. So from a post Jim Ryan review, 2026 review, right? Wait a minute, he's no longer the CEO of PlayStation. What do you think? We'll start with Chill Will. What would you say? How well do you think Jim Ryan handled PlayStation when he took it over from 2019 up until he left? What's your opinion about him? He was okay, sucked, in the middle, no impact. What are your thoughts about Jim Ryan?
The only thing he really had to do was just not screw it up with the PlayStation 5 launch. He was able to mitigate the chip shortages. So I guess that's the only bright positive I can give him. But when it comes to how aggressive he was with live service, I just F plus.
Okay.
I mean, we still did
F
get
plus.
So we did still get.
Oh, I love that grade. I would love to see that on a report card.
We did still get some great games. Like we still got
F
Ragnarok.
plus.
We got Returnal, God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, like Spider-Man Miles Morales. We still got some great games like before he retired, but yeah, F plus. That's what you get from my book, dog. You didn't screw it up. You didn't screw it up. The chip shortages was a thing he had to get through. You know what I mean? Because at the time they didn't have a console CEO or a hardware CEO. It was all through him. You know what I mean? I mean, you didn't have to replace Shuhei Yoshida either with Herman Holst either. This dude is like, he's lucky that the studios are where they are because of Shuhei Yoshida, where we can have confidence in Wolverine in the next Cory Barlog game. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just sustainable profits, dog. Come on now.
Okay, all right.
You put that fucking goofball in charge.
Okay, all right. Entity. What are your thoughts? Jim Ryan report card.
To be honest, the more I even think about it, it just becomes worse and worse. Chill Will, you mentioned Returnal, right? Returnal was in development way before Yoshida, went to the indie role. So I'm thinking maybe Yoshida also has to do with, something with Returnal. Demon Souls, he's the guy who presented it at the PlayStation Showcase. Miles, anything to do with those. Now, if you think about, let's say, Horizon Forbidden West, right? The previous game released in 2017, so if let's say they got a green light around 17 or 18, Yoshida was still in place. Again, if you think about Gran Turismo, God of War Ragnarok, like think of all of the good games, Yoshida in some shape or form either gave a green light or was part of the reviewing panel to approve the project. Yoshida even said that he signed a preliminary deal potentially to work with Concord. So in some shape or form, you should that in. And now, if you think about all of the acquisitions, right? That's on Jim Ryan, and to a certain extent Herman Hulst, and none of them are working out in any shape or form. Haven, Fair Games, they haven't released it. Marathon, which I thought is going to be a big hit, no, it turned out to be a good hit, a good game, but not a hit. So, from a taste-maker perspective, for the betterment of PlayStation, I think probably Jim Ryan at this moment will go down as the worst CEO a PlayStation ever had. So for me, F minus. So.
Okay. All right. Okay. Henry, your thoughts? Oh, he might be out. He might be on about. So we'll go
Here, I'm
over.
here.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm here.
There he
No
is.
problem.
I had
No
trouble
problem.
with my
he's
mic.
there.
Yeah, I had trouble with my mic here.
You sound good on our part.
Yeah, you sound good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What are we talking about here?
So Jim Ryan report card. Now that that is post, because apparently it's not Yoshida's now unfiltered. He's saying he got fired, and the reason why he got fired is because he wasn't listening to Jim Ryan. Jim Ryan probably came up with some stupid ideas, and Yoshida's like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that." So like any boss would be like, "Well, you're not gonna do what I want you to do. I'm gonna have to fire you." And get somebody else to do it, like Helman Holst.
I think the trend is just to push toward, if they see how much money Fortnite was bringing in, right? So they want their own to kind of their own income that can just keep rolling in, but it just didn't work, right? So I think we all experienced the effect of not having one single first party exclusive like last year, right? So I don't know, at this point, what's the use, right? So it's it's like I wish Yuhei was still with Sony. I wish he was, but yeah, it's what it is. I think Jim Ryan's decision and Sony's overall decisions to wanting to be a live service gaming obviously didn't work, right? So I mean, we don't even know some of these games are like what was it 12 total? Like like how many has how many has came out? Right?
2.
So yeah, right.
Marathon and Helldivers.
Yeah. So and Helldivers isn't even like a by Sony's first party, right? It's a partnership with Arrowhead. Yeah. So I don't know. Everything else doesn't look so hot. So fingers crossed. But I'm fine if they completely do 180 on the whatever's left and then just go back to building great single narrative single player games.
Goddamn right.
Okay. All right. Okay. Sean, your thoughts on
Jim
Ryan report card?
Oh man, ever since what I heard from that interview, I'm gonna have to give him low effort. Worst person in PlayStation. I'm gonna just say it like that because it's a couple of things I didn't like what he did. So as far as the live service push, I didn't like that. And then also about the backwards compatibility, that like pissed me off completely. When I heard about that pissed me off.
Okay.
And
wait, what's the backwards compatibility?
Fair point.
He was the one
though,
that
fair
said.
point.
I think he was the one that said who plays backwards compatible games.
exactly.
I think that was Jim
Like
Ryan.
no one wants to play Gran Turismo 4 or some shit like
Yeah,
that.
he said, "Look at the graphics." Nah, I'm like, no. Okay, you pissed me off now. So yeah, when I heard
Can you
that,
do
I'm
that
like,
sound
yeah,
effect again?
worst effort, zero effort. Yeah, I'm about to say he's trash.
Okay. All right, very well. Okay. Okay, cool. And now Valkyrie.
No, I know nothing about it, so I'm going to keep quiet. You guys keep
Okay.
going.
She says I defer. I defer to M. I defer to the Australian delegation of Melbourne. So it's all on you now.
I do not make. I don't make up stuff if I don't know it. So go.
So she's like,
We
"Yep, M,
respect
you got."
that.
She's like, "M, you got this."
You got my time.
I relinquish my time over to my fellow Australian citizen.
Yo, so here's the thing. First of all, I think that we have to understand. At least I want people to understand how I look at these things. So Entity did something that I personally find really hard to do, which is trying to imagine where in the timeline each person had a contribution. So to me, I don't bother with doing that. To me, if you're the CEO of a company, I treat you like a presidency. Your time starts from the day you clock in to the day you clock out. I know that there were previous things that were happening, previous forces that you had to deal with. But to me, it's like just like when the president moves in, the moment that you start, people say like this is on you. Even for example, let's just say wild scenario, but let's imagine that the USA were to get a new president tomorrow, right? He will have to deal with the ongoing decisions that were made by the previous president. There are forces that are already in play, and are things that he will not be able to do on day one. But I will start judging your presidency from day one. So if there's a thing that I want you to do, I don't care what the forces are in the background. I'm going to judge you on how much or how quickly you did of that thing. So when I look at Jim Ryan's presidency, I look at it from the day that he started to the day that he stopped. Everything that happened in between, that's on you. That's on your plate. For example, Sean Layden was already the one that was putting games on PC, right? That was his idea, that was his initiative. But Jim Ryan could have come in and just stopped it. Right? That's the power that you have. You could have just stopped it, but you didn't. So now all of the games that went under you, even if the port was already being built, even if they were 99% complete under Sean Layden, you did not decide to stop them. So that's on you. So that's the way that I see it. And that's what I mean. It's a different strategy from what Entity was talking about, where he tries to attribute like, okay, this project was like 2 years along, so blah blah blah. I just find it's too hard, and we don't have that insight. So looking at Jim Ryan's thing, I think I rank him at a 7 out of 10 because when I look at what I actually received, the PlayStation 5 during the pandemic, he navigated that extremely well. Nobody can say anything about that. The launch was great, the lineup was great, the price was great, and they did the best effort that they could, to actually get PlayStations over into people's houses. When I look at the fact that he navigated the ABK thing, and for people who care about Call of Duty on PlayStation, he got them a 10-year deal, which is something that people were ridiculing for when Microsoft was like, oh, everybody else is accepted. What is it? They said that he should just sign away Call of Duty or whatever, and people were like, he should just accept whatever deal Microsoft had, and he negotiated all the way to 10 years. For the people who care about that, he got that for you.
I completely forgot about
hardware, when I look at the hardware,
I'm gonna push back on that point.
Sure.
Okay.
The PS5, the console.
He said, "Sure, whatever."
Yeah.
Rude. like we got. You might as well just grab a fly swat and say just use that. Rude.
The PlayStation Portal, the DualSense Edge, a lot of the headphone accessories and everything like that. The hardware that actually launched during his tenure, all of it was great. I think maybe the headphones, people didn't really like the Link headphones specifically, but I always thought that was dumb. The entire thing about like having the PlayStation Portal Link, not using Bluetooth, but having a proprietary format that they didn't even propagate throughout the whole of Sony. Like, again, if you buy a Sony TV in 2026, it will not have that capability built in. So to me, that's stupid, because why are you a PlayStation operating as a silo, even though you come from an electronics company that makes the electronics that you're partaking in? It's whatever, right? But from the hardware perspective, did great. Obviously, there are some things from the software perspective that we don't like that he did, right? The very first big negative is live service. Now, I am one of the people that say that PlayStation needs to figure out multiplayer, and I stand by that to this day. But I never said that multiplayer had to be a live service, and I never said that multiplayer had to aim to become the next Fortnite or the next Roblox or anything of the sort. For example, the perfect multiplayer game that I was, exact kind of experience I wanted from Sony is something like Ghost of Yote Legends, just something like that. I am sure there's like a good amount of like maybe 10,000 people in a particular week that are enjoying playing Ghost of Yote Legends, but nobody is thinking that that game is supposed to go up against a Fortnite. Nobody's thinking it's supposed to go up against a Roblox. Nobody's thinking that, Sucker Punch suddenly has to convert the entire team to be supporting the live service efforts. So to me, it was always like that. You need to figure out multiplayer, but it's okay for those multiplayer experiences to be smaller in scale and be designed from the ground up to be something where it's like, hey, it's an added bonus, it's a value add to you. Now, if you were going to have an entire game where the entire point was multiplayer, then I wanted a much more classic approach to multiplayer in that sense. A little bit like Helldivers 2. I think Helldivers 2 does a good mix of being, something that it has a box price. Yes, it has a store, but from what I see, most people do not find that store to be extremely egregious. So you can still enjoy the game in a huge way without ever paying more money than you paid upfront for the actual product. And again, even though Helldivers 2 had this moment in the sun, it has kind of, naturalized or normalized to a point where it's again kind of the experience I want a PlayStation to get. It's a successful game. It has a good fan base, but it is not going up against a Fortnite, So that's what I wanted. And I think that Jim Ryan completely missed the mark on that. I think he completely wanted to dedicate the studios to be making games that were going to reach the level of success and responsibility and demand as, a Fortnite, a Call of Duty, an Apex Legends and things like that. And I think that was always the wrong play, because the truth is that even though Nintendo has games on that level, like Super Smash Bros. Is extremely huge, I don't think that they designed it from the ground up trying to make it extremely huge. I think they just tried to make a great multiplayer game, and it organically grew its audience to a really high number. But when you try to go, the multiplayer game from the ground up and you try to shoot for the stars, I think that's the wrong approach. So I think he missed a massive mark on that. But that would be forgivable if he hadn't created this scene. And that is that despite all of the acquisitions that he made, which were also a mistake, he still asked existing first-party studios or first-party studios that had no business making live service games. He still let them pursue the live service game thing. And that is completely unforgivable. The fact that Bluepoint is now closed because they were wasting their time making a live service game. The fact that who's that people that made the zombie game besides The Last of Us?
Tony Ben.
Ben Studio.
Tony Ben
Studio.
Yeah, the fact that Ben Studio was making a live service effort, completely ridiculous. So it's like you did two things. First of all, the acquisitions were non-organic, which is something that PlayStation had never done before. You don't even work with people, you buy them outright. That was a colossal mistake,
True.
So then even I would have accepted non-organic kind of acquisitions if they were all for the live service, because you're like, hey, we don't have anyone in-house or any of our traditional partners that really do this multiplayer live service thing. So we have no choice but to go and acquire talent that will learn and grow to do that. That will make sense to me if you were doing that as a way to protect your existing studios from having to pursue that initiative. That is extremely risky. But he fucked up on both counts. Number one, it was non-organic. Number two, it didn't even protect the single player studios from having to make these things. And then number three, those acquisitions sucked. They absolutely sucked. You know, the Bungie acquisition was under him, so that's on his tenure. Matter of fact, the more I'm talking, I feel like Entity. The more I think about this, the lower the score goes. I'm gonna go from a 7.
Plus.
I'm gonna go down to a 4. I'm gonna go down to a 4 out of 10 because the Bungie acquisition is just unforgivable.
The more you talk about it, you're realizing like it's just coming back. It's like he didn't think about everything, but as long as he's talking about it, it's like coming in. He's like, wait a minute, it's just.
No. I needed a pregnant pause on that score. Okay, I need to adjust that score. I should have just talked first and then figure out the score later. Okay, people, take your time. Take your time with these things. Get your thoughts out of the way. So yeah, and that's the thing. And you know, the thing that's most unforgivable out of him is that these are all unforced errors. At the end of the day, these are completely unforced errors. Maybe the only forced error there was, you know, the whole Call of Duty situation, because Microsoft kind of put them on the spot like, hey, you know, we're about to acquire this company, do what you can about it. But everything else, even the Bungie acquisition, didn't have anything to do with the whole Call of Duty situation, because you don't sign a $4 billion deal 2 months later because you realize that somebody was buying something else. You know, it's like one of those people who is like, oh, my neighbor bought a Porsche and I'm going to have to go buy a Ferrari. Like, no, it doesn't work that way, right? So again, I think at the end of the day, he wasn't a terrible leader, but he did make terrible mistakes. And PlayStation, hopefully, in the next round of leadership, is going to go a large part of the way to correct what those mistakes was, because that's the thing. He He damaged the building, but he didn't crack the foundation. And I feel like an F minus to me is reserved for a person
An
that cracks the actual
F minus. So that's why there's an F plus. He gets an F plus.
Yeah, exactly. So I agree with F plus, but F minus from Entity, I feel like that's a bit too far. That's a bit too far. He didn't crack the foundation of what PlayStation was. But
that's why I gave him credit.
F plus.
I gave him credit for the launch of the PS5.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
All right.
Matter of fact, one more thing. 3 out of 10 because of the PC thing.
The PC. They kept going. 3. It's the final score. 3 out of 10.
Keep going. It's gonna go to an F plus.
No, if he keeps talking, he's gonna get to the F plus. All right. So for me, send that bastard to North Korea, right along with Herman Holtz. Send his ass to King Jong-un and never come back. And I'm gonna say why. All right. So overall, I kind of understand Eminem's point about it's really hard to determine where you begin and when you end, right? For some, you know, in general, right? But I think, in my opinion, the things that we're giving him credit, or where some people can give him credit, anybody was going to get that done anyway, because some things was already in play. Like, for example, the creation of the PlayStation 5. That was already years into development. Remember, he came in 2019, like a year before launch, right? Granted, there was a pandemic, but 90% of the PlayStation was already built. All the stuff with component was done. Maybe it's a few minor details, but guess what? Some of the details was already approved. I don't think there was anything he needed to prove of significance to the console. Most of the stuff, like, I don't think he had to make a decision on, okay, we're planning on new cooling. Do you think we're allowed to? I think that was already done. I don't, you know, I granted there may have been some high level decisions on deployment in terms of which regions need to be focused, you know, concentrated on, especially with a shortage of components. But I think any businessman could have done a decent job. I don't think that's a necessary skill Jim Ryan had. Like, trying to say, hey, we're going to prioritize Europe and America, which is like the 2 biggest markets for PlayStation, is probably not a hard decision. I thought if we would have had another CEO, that person would have been like, prioritize Brazil and Madagascar. I don't think anybody would have done that.
Can I just say one thing? The trouble with that is that Jim Ryan wasn't external to Sony. He's been there for a long time. So you say that PlayStation 5 development was already there, but he was part of the people that made the decision on the PlayStation 5. He was the head of Europe. There's no way they were designing the PlayStation 5 without his input. So that's the thing. That's why it's a dangerous thing to try.
Oh, so but really, it's a regional. Well, like, technically, would a regional owner of owner of a region take part in the development of the PS5?
Yeah. Oh, Europe? Yeah, Europe.
Why?
Obviously.
What input would he put as regional?
Let's say you were designing a bag and you're a bag company, and I'm the head of like your Australian like department, you know, and I'm also one of your biggest markets. Are you going to design the bag without asking me what my customers are looking for in the bag? Of course you're going to talk to me. Like, am I going to be the final decision maker? No, but I'm going to have input on what the bag should do.
I don't know, maybe. Because when you think about it, you're including US, you're including Japan. Like, really, to be honest, no, I wouldn't. Now that we talk about it, no, I wouldn't talk to you. You know who I would talk to? The developers. Why would I need to talk to you?
No.
But I will be your
I would talk to the developers.
The developers.
Why wouldn't I talk to the developers? They're the ones that are making the games.
No, but I will be the person.
Yeah, but they make the game, but who's the end user? Sorry, and I'm talking over you, but P-Rock, the developers develop. But I can develop what I think is great. I can paint whatever, you know what, but doesn't mean that the end user or the gamer is going to play it. You can't develop in isolation. Just because they're telling you they want it doesn't mean you should develop it either. It goes both ways. But do you know how many times I work in IT industry and my devs go, I'm going to build it this way. I get the application. I'm like, it freaking doesn't work. It breaks it. What user is going to follow this and do this? And it's the same with games because I'll let the developers do whatever they want. So I'm literally dealing with that right now. Hence why you kind of triggered it at the same time. So
okay, I triggered it. But I'm not talking about. But I'm not talking about the game itself. I'm talking about the tools. I'm not talking about the game itself. I'm talking about the tools and the technology. I'm not talking about what exactly you're going to make. I'm talking about. Listen, am I going to talk about a developer and say, hey, are these clock frequencies and these heat things good? Over Jim, like I'm going to talk to Jim Ryan about clock frequencies and T-flops? Or am I going to talk to the developer?
Right.
Well,
I'm not going to talk. Yeah. Jim Ryan doesn't know anything about that. He doesn't know anything about technology. Yeah, let me put it this way. Why can't Jim Ryan, all right, we're talking about in a room developing tech that's RDNA. Yeah. What can Jim Ryan add to the table? What is he going to say at the table? Okay. That's
so
worthwhile.
Flip it the other way, right? So if I'm the dev and I'm doing the tech and I go, and I know this piece of equipment or this tech or this software is going to run super fast, it's going to give you the best graphics, and it's going to do this. But it's going to cost you $10,000 and you're going to build it. What are you going to tell me? No.
But I have a CFO for that.
You're not going to let me just
That's what the CFO is for.
You're not going to let me just do it, right?
I know, but Sony got a CFO that does that. I don't need Jim Ryan for that. I got a CFO who's the head of Sony. And PlayStation has their own CFO that does that too. So I don't, again, listen, I'm building a console. I need to know what Jim Ryan's input is going to be at the table. What is he going to say? Okay. He's not a developer. He doesn't make games. I got a CFO to crunch the numbers. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's he going to do?
He's going to tell you what his part of the market is looking for. For example, the design of the console, just at the very basic. What is it that is going to appeal to the European gamer? What is it that they are looking for in terms of the controller? What is it that they are looking for in terms of the services that we're going to provide? What is the UI going to look like? Making sure that in that market, that those things are going to appeal to those customers. For example, if
don't Sony have people that does that job at the higher level?
I mean,
but isn't that what your brand and your market people should do?
Let me see, hold
right?
on.
So, sorry,
but that's a good point.
The head of the region is supposed to be the person that takes all of that input.
Makes the decision.
He's not going to talk about, exactly. He's the transmitter of that input. And he can obviously interpret that data however the hell he wants. So if he like, okay, let's say that, he gets market research done, and then he presents it in a different way, you could end up with a different thing. Because I think that if the PlayStation 5 was primarily designed for the Japanese market, it would never have the size that it does, because the Japanese, typically value smaller, smaller form factors in almost everything. So it will be designed in a completely different way. But Japan happens to be, PlayStation's like lesser performing market at the moment. So it was clear in the design of the PlayStation 5 that their sensitivities were not considered as heavily as they were for, like, let's say the PlayStation 2. So I think that the head of the region has a huge amount to say about the development of the next console platform and how it's going to launch and everything like that.
I wouldn't say a huge amount of say in how it goes, but from an approvals perspective, right? Of course, the tech team, the R&D development team is going to come to a presentation in a boardroom and they're going to say, okay, this is the, unit that we are thinking of building. And probably in there, the CEOs and the regional leaders will be sitting in. and they'll have their say. I think that's the maximum amount of input that Jim Ryan probably had. Now, in terms of successfully navigating the pandemic through, he did what he could, but still we experienced massive shortages. So this is one of the reasons I gave him F-, is like even the best thing that he didn't do it, to his fullest, I think. It was hard to find PlayStation.
It's still ahead.
Yeah.
This is PlayStation, but I cannot believe that the head of the second largest market for PlayStation somehow was on the sideline and just discovering along with us, what the PlayStation was turning out to be. I just that would be insane to think about that. I think about it, it's only like three big markets, right? There's the North American market, right? There's a European market, and then there's the Asian market. And I think Australia actually falls under Europe, which is interesting. But those are the three markets, and it's just like, well, obviously they're going to have input, And when I look at the PlayStation 5, that clearly is not something that was designed with the, again, the traditional Japanese, Asian aesthetic and Asian design in mind. It doesn't, And in fact, I know that it doesn't because remember, the PlayStation 5, this was the first time that they forced the Japanese users to use X or the cross button as yes, because typically all the previous generation, the confirmation button, to affirm your action on the PlayStation console in Japan, it was circle, which for us is the opposite. Circle is no, X is yes. But in the Japanese market, traditionally, it was that particular way because it has some cultural meaning over there. But in PlayStation 5 generation, it was the first generation that they were like, no, even if you're in Japan, you are now going to have to get used to saying X is yes, circle is no. So things like that, they matter. And I bet you the head of Japan was like, nah, we shouldn't do this.
Okay, so we're going to give credit where credit's due. I say, you know what, I'm going to just let AI. I did, I'm sorry, Entity, but I got the paid model. You're free, so I couldn't use you. So it says right here.
Like Jim Ryan.
So listen, I'm going to have to pay to get you the upgrade. No, but he says like this. While Mark Cerny served as the lead system architect responsible for technical hardware design, Jim Ryan's role in development of PlayStation 5 was primarily strategic and commercial. He had described his involvement in the creation process as playing the bad cop who evaluated the commercial viability of certain hardware ideas. Commercial viability oversight. Ryan's primary task was to ensure the PS5 could be sold at a sustainable price point. He noted that his role often involved saying no to technically impressive but expensive features that would have resulted in an unaffordable console. Pricing and product tiers. He led the research into different hardware configurations, such as the decision to release a digital edition alongside the standard model. He also oversaw the decision to not pursue a low-price, reduced-spec console similar to Xbox Series S, believing such hardware would become obsolete too quickly. All right, so I'll give him that. So that, I give him props for that. He prevented an Xbox Series S scenario by doing that. And then aesthetic direction, Ryan advocated for the PS5's bold and daring physical design. He emphasized that consoles should look like furniture or decor that would grace a living area rather than appearing like a traditional consumer electronics. Okay, so we'll give him the fact that
he... me my flowers?
Yeah, you get your flowers for the aesthetics. Because that was a good point. He prevented the Xbox...
There was no way that he didn't have a huge amount of say.
Yeah, he prevented an Xbox Series S disaster. Because I guess he stopped that.
Literally the job of your head is everyone tells you all this stuff, and then you make the decision. Yes, you've got stakeholders and all the people in there, right? Board members, but you make the best decision. Like, I'm not going to go sell quilts and fur coats in Singapore. That's dumb.
Yeah. So the main thing was, so his last job wasn't Europe. He was actually the deputy president of SIE. So we didn't realize, he was actually, when he was the president of Sony Interactive Europe, he left that position and he moved up to deputy president of SIE. So he was actually the one guy under. So he was under Ryan, Sean Layden. So he was pretty much the deputy. So we didn't know that. I didn't know that. So he literally, he fell right under Sean Layden. So in that position, then yes. Because really, let's be honest, I don't know, like in the military, the deputy is really the one who works the hardest, not the guy in charge. The deputy boy, them motherfuckers are busting. Like when you have a commander and you have the executive officer, that executive officer is the one working. They're doing all the work for the commander. They're busting their ass. So yeah, as deputy president of SIE, so yes, he would be. So yeah, so PS5 creation heavily involved in that and stuff, right? Jim Ryan left, he took over. I'm still sending his ass to North Korea. And I'm going to tell you why. He's still going to North Korea. He's still going to North Korea. It's going to take a lot to convince me not to get chopped off his head. But I'm going to say why. So he took over 2019. When I look at someone who take over, I look at the most impactful thing that you notice a thumbprint. Like when you notice a thumbprint, like, yeah, this is different, right? What is different? What is different with this new generation of gaming? That person's thumbprint is all over it and impacted it. People are mentioning, oh, we got God of War and, Spider-Man 2, Miles Morales, Returnal, stuff like that. To me, that is a Sony thumbprint that's always there, and they just kept it going. It's just whether or not they were smart enough to fund the project or not, okay. But that's Sony's DNA. That's their thumbprint. We were going to get Wolverine, Jim with or without Jim Ryan. In fact, that's probably was already in play, right? So I think that thumbprint, he was smart enough to keep that thumbprint going. Where I think he did the biggest shakeup, where this is Jim Ryan, like you clearly know it's him, was the live service strategy. That was clearly him. That was all him, right? The Bungie acquisition, that was in his tenure. That was his tenure. There was nobody before that. It didn't even began to like 2021 or whatever, where he met with Bungie and they started talking about it. And that was all part of his huge plan of live service. That was his thing. That was his thumbprint, right? And he pushed that thumbprint, right? Now, some people say he didn't force studios, but I guarantee, when your big boss is all about this and you know it as a company and you're a developer and you're getting all the word like, hey, your big boss is giving buku money for live service game. He's like all about it. And this is what he wants, right? He's making, like, this is his strategic vision, live service. He's still cool with those single player games, but man, he has a hard on for live service game. And you're a development studio and you're trying to make impression, you're probably going to try to go after what you're hearing. Like, man, Sony at the top is really going after this, which is probably why Sony Ben tried to make a live service game, which is probably why, Blue Point says, you know what? Our first project, let's go after a live service game because that's what the top wants. They're hearing it. They're not forced to. But if you're hearing they're giving green light to live service project and they're giving you money, hey, let's see if we could go after that and stuff like that. So I think him having that hard on for live service influenced some studios to make that decision, be like, you know what? The top dogs really want this. Maybe we should give it a try, which I think Naughty Dog went through. Because I think Naughty Dog originally maybe had a basic multiplayer in mind. But 2019, Jim Ryan's in. He's like, listen, my strategy is live service. I really want this. Maybe you guys come up with ideas, let me know. Maybe he wasn't forcing it. But when your top new boss comes in, you probably want to impress him. And you be like, you know what? We might have a good idea. Instead of doing a traditional factions, Sony's going to, if Naughty Dog pitches to Sony, like, hey, you know what? We have a great idea. In your line with your vision, we could probably do that with factions. We just need more money. Done. Here you go. Love it. Here's more millions. Love it. Love it, Naughty Dog. Make it happen. Naughty Dog's like, cool. We got more money. We got more millions. Let's try this. Sony Ben, hey, we could do a live service game. Cool. Money. Love it. Make it happen. It's getting free money off a huge vision that the top dog wants. The top dog wants it. Some people just fell into the hype and get into there, right? That's his big thing, whatever, right? And in the end, it didn't work. It didn't work, Before that, let me backtrack one step further. Let me go back 10 steps. Bungie, $3.6 billion. $3.6 billion. And for what? Again, this conversation is a report card. We're no longer talking about 2021. We had the conversations in 2021, 2022 about the desire of Sony having a bigger footprint in multiplayer, how they should handle that. the amount of money a successful live service game brings, could potentially fund more PlayStation games, all that talk, all that conjecture, all that guesswork. Okay, cool. Now we're now at the okay. Let's review and let's look at the reality of the situation. It didn't bring the money that people guessed. It didn't do the thing. We got Marathon. You know, I'm not here to knock Marathon's gameplay. It could be a great game, but it's definitely not a $3.6 billion title. It did not do what you would expect from paying $3.6 billion. You know, it's not like it's not 2026. Let's be honest, and I think Henry could attest to this. Marathon did not launch like the way Destiny launched or Destiny 2 launched, where it was just a big phenom and everybody was playing it. Hell, Marathon didn't even launch like Helldivers 2. Helldivers had a bigger launch, bigger viral. It was just everybody was talking about it and everybody was playing it. Marathon didn't even do that. So $3.6 billion. We didn't like nothing. This was all Jim Ryan and stuff, right? Naughty Dog, in their hype to do live service, realized, yeah, we're not doing this. It's just too much of an ask for the studio. We're shutting down. Concord, Bluepoint trying to do a live service. We're not going to see a game from Sony Ben. You know, this is Jim Ryan's DNA blueprint, right? And he was so strategically into live service that, in my opinion, one of the most obvious risks that they should have saw coming when he took over in 2019, he should have saw a huge risk and asked the question. Maybe he did, or maybe he didn't care. Maybe somebody did bring it up to him and he didn't care because to him, live service is more important. But I think in that position, he should have been like, all right, I have one question I'm taking over. We're about to get into the next generation of gaming. You guys are reporting projects that you're making, and it's like 5 to 6 years wait. He's like, how would these 5 to 6 year wait times impact the PlayStation 5 generation? Like, how many titles will we be able to launch? How many titles will we have? Is this a slower output? Do I need to invest in more studios to get you guys numbers up? You know, things like that. To me, the development cycle of how long it takes a game should have been addressed in 2019, maybe even earlier, because that was something that's going to rear its ugly head. Especially like Sony Ben, not one title is going to come out this gen. They have a whole studio and they're not making anything. I think Sony Ben's on the chopping block. They're on the chopping block. If this next title doesn't hit, they're gone. Because they wouldn't have effectively created a new game since Days Gone, which was 2018, 2019? 2019.
Well, can I ask you a question? A very simple question, right? Let's say you're head of a studio and you're developing a multiplayer game, right? And let's pretend that I am Jim Ryan and I come to you and I ask, Porok, you know, you're working on this multiplayer game. Do you think it's going to be a success? What's your answer going to be?
I'm always going to say yes. Why wouldn't I?
And I think that's the thing. You're going to say yes. And if you have someone like Jim Ryan, who I don't think he knows if a multiplayer game is going to be a success or not, if he cannot make that call, I think he's just the wrong person for that particular job.
But I think the biggest mistake, he got rid of the person.
Yoshida,
he was that guy.
Shuhei Yoshida, he was that guy.
Yoshida was Yoshida. Yeah. So in my opinion, he got. In my opinion, Jim Ryan's almost like Trump. He got people, mouthpieces that, like Herman Holtz. Herman Holtz was not going to tell that man no. He's like, hey, Herman Holtz, I'm going to promote you. He's like, whatever you want, boss. Yoshida was the dude that's like, nah, I'm not doing that. And I think Jim Ryan should have needed that. You know, I think Jim Ryan should have kept Yoshida to protect him. Because I guarantee Yoshida has no problem telling any development studio, that's a dumb, stupid idea. We're not doing that. I don't think Yoshida would have allowed, like let's say we were to replace Holtz and Yoshida. And, you know, Bluepoint's like, hey, we got a game, whatever. And Yoshida's like, okay, let me look at it. And it's like a live service game. Yoshida would have been like,
that shit.
Yeah,
if you don't get, if you think so, you think Yoshida would allow Bluepoint to make a live service game?
No, not that. Definitely not that. That'd be stupid.
Yeah.
No, I think that's one of the ridiculous things that he got fired for.
Yeah.
But I do think that people are giving Yoshida credit for multiplayer games when he doesn't know multiplayer games. That's the point with PlayStation.
No, not to give him credit for multiplayer games. I think to give him. I think the reason why Sony's never been a multiplayer company. they have people confused of them having maybe a selection of decent multiplayers, or even if you consider them good from a gameplay perspective, from being a company that creates big hits in multiplayer. The last big hit multiplayer that they honestly had as a first-party studio was SOCOM 2 on the PlayStation 2. They never had a multiplayer hit that big since. The Last of Us was not that big. It was good, but it wasn't a phenom. It wasn't among the top multiplayer games being played that generation. None of their multiplayer games were that super big. Some of them were good, some of them were fun, a huge selection, variety, but they weren't like breakout hits. Resistance 2 wasn't like among the Call of Duties or the Battlefields or whatever. They just weren't. Most of those multiplayer games weren't a huge selection, huge sellers or whatever. They just weren't that big to that degree, right? It was never in their DNA, okay? But Yoshida had a decent ability. He wasn't perfect, but he had a decent ability to call out stupid shit, ridiculous shit that don't make sense. Guarantee he would have called out Sony Ben trying to do a live service game. He probably would have been like, you guys, like, that's not your thing. You don't have the expertise. You don't have the manpower. You guys don't even have any multiplayer guys on your team. Shut the fuck up and think of another game. Blue Point, he probably would have laughed. He would have been like, get out of here, try again. Like, he would have prevented a lot of maybe some stupid shit that happened. Now, if a multiplayer team that Sony purchases that, let's say like the Concord guys, they are multiplayer guys, okay, he probably wouldn't have stopped Concord. Because the guys are multiplayer guys. So he probably would have relied on, okay, you guys have the skills, you guys have the experience. Okay, let's run with it. Let's see how that goes since you guys are actual multiplayer-driven guys. Okay, he probably wouldn't have stopped Concord, right? He probably wouldn't have stopped that because, the guys who developed Concord were multiplayer guys. You know what I'm saying? They had the experience. They had the stuff. It just didn't work out, which is funny, which is literally the pretty much the story of live service games to begin with. Most of them don't work out. Even by actual guys who look at Defiant, X-Defiant. Those were made by Call of Duty devs. They made some of the most successful titles in Activision. They make their own game. A year later, they shut it down. You see what I'm saying? That's how challenging live service games is, right? And Sony didn't have that DNA and stuff like that. I think the biggest thing that they should have focused on, or at least put at the table as a top priority, top 3 priority is, hey, our single player games that we are so good at what we do, they are now taking 5 to 6 years to make. They're no longer the 2 to 4 year games that allows our studios to release at least 2 titles in a generation. We're going to be down to 1 per generation at best for some of our studios. How can we mitigate that? They should have discussed that. They didn't, because they probably thought live service would cover all that. Like if they created multiple successful live service games, that enduring long hours would mitigate a lower output of first-party title. But because the live service strategy failed, now people are looking back at the single player like, wait a minute, your live service strategy failed. We ain't getting these 10 to 12 live service games. Meanwhile, some of these studios ain't even going to make a single-player game for this entire gen of PS5. And some are taking super long, like Naughty Dog. You got to wait till 2027 for their new game. So you got some studios, you get 1 game at best. Sony Sucker Punch. Got Yote. Okay, cool. That's it. That's all you're going to get from them this entire gen. Sony Ben, you don't get anything from them. Blue Point's gone. So what you did get was in the beginning of the gen with Demon Souls. Naughty Dog, you get Intergalactic in 2027. You see what I'm saying? These are big issues. And they only look bigger because the live service strategy flopped. So this, to me, this thumbprint, this fingerprint is Jim Ryan. And I say this is an absolute failure. Because some of the successes PlayStation has, I think somebody else probably could have done the same thing. Because Sony's so good at it with the single-player games. So the Ratchet and Clank, Wolverine, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Spider-Man 2, I don't think anybody would have screwed up that train. I think those games would have still came out. Housemarque would have came out, would have been fine. The one thing you could probably give them props is Helldivers 2. But look how much we had to sacrifice. Look how much was sacrificed for Helldivers 2. And $3.6 billion for something we would have gotten anyway as PlayStation gamers. Marathon was a PlayStation games from the get-go. there was no reason to invest $3.6 billion in that company. And if his idea was, if he convinced the board, hey, we need to spend $3.6 billion because Bungie is going to provide the knowledge and culture to help make our other games successful that we have planned and help our studios that are going to try to get into live service with their knowledge and tutelage, we're going to get these successful titles. It didn't happen at all. Pretty much PlayStation and pretty much PlayStation 5 generation, right? If anybody's going to consider good, and it is good, it's great. It's primarily because we got great hardware, great third party, which is normal, and great first party single player studios, which is normal. But the live service did not add to PlayStation's greatness. If anything, it hurt it. It hindered it. It's the black eye of everything. Really, live service is the black eye. So that part is the black eye caused by Jim Ryan. Everything else was just PlayStation's DNA. So I give Jim Ryan a 2 out of 10. For not doing the Xbox Series S type scenario, right? And I guess not totally fucking up Sony's first party, because he did fuck up a little bit. He put Naughty Dog behind. Blue Point's gone. Sony Ben is not even making a game for PS5. Unless it's like a cross-gen title in 2030, 2031. That's the only way you could technically say, oh yeah, Sony Ben ended up didn't making a game for PS5 because it was a cross-gen title in 2031. That's about it. So I don't think Jim Ryan really, in overall, 3 out of 10 was just bad. He didn't push PlayStation further. That's my thing. So fuck him. Send them to Korea. Along with Herman Hulse. All right. Let me do the super chats. Let me get these super chats going on. I didn't get anything for Pat. My ass. Did you see anything? I didn't see anything. Hopefully next week then, man. Listen, you're invited. Don't run now, Friday. Bastard. All right. Or Friday. Yeah, you can come through Friday, but I think he wants the podcast. So we got Quentin Roundtree. Thank you for the super chat. Says, so do you think? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna read it, but he just reminded me. So do you think the $80 billion for Activision in hindsight was the dumbest thing Microsoft bought? Also, hello from Queensland. Okay, before I answer your question, hello. the pushback from M. Talking about, what was it, Jim Ryan with the ABK, he had to find a way to fight it. The only reason why I'm going to push back on that is because, again, we now have hindsight. During the ABK trial, they were porting Sea of Thieves. So he knew Microsoft was making games for PlayStation. So the whole feel of Call of Duty, we need a contract. At the time, it made sense. So when people were saying, oh, Bungie was because of Call of Duty, he had to do something. At the time, we're like, okay, yeah. All right, that kind of makes sense. Maybe it's a desperate move. He had to do something to, because Sony, with ABK falling under Microsoft, PlayStation has nothing. Bungie's the next step. Okay. But now you fast forward to 2024 and Sea of Thieves was announced, and we're like, wait a minute. This game's launching in 2024, which means early 2024, which means they were developing this all throughout 2023 when the ABK trial was happening. Like, they were literally going to Sony headquarters making games for PlayStation while, like, what? Like, what the hell was Jim Ryan arguing then? He knew Microsoft was doing Project whatever the hell they called it. They were already shaking hands. Like 10 years for Call of Duty, he was getting Sea of Thieves. So he was getting, and here's the thing. Regardless how people feel about Sea of Thieves, Rare never ever made a game for PlayStation. When they belonged to Nintendo, never made a game for PlayStation. And when they belonged from Xbox, when Xbox bought them out, OG Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One, they never made a game for PlayStation. Now, technically, a brand new IP made for Xbox is being made for PlayStation. And Jim Ryan knew about this. So the whole danger behind Activision, it was it was full of, it was full of piss. It was bullshit because he knew.
What's crazy about that?
He knew Xbox was making games.
But that doesn't mean anything because the thing is that's voluntary. Microsoft making Sea of Thieves for PlayStation, that's a voluntary thing. The thing with Call of Duty is that they needed an assurance that you were not going to take it away. Because guess what? If he hadn't gotten that assurance, Call of Duty wouldn't be on PlayStation. There's no reason you would do that.
Yes, it would. Listen, if you're gonna put Sea of Thieves on PlayStation, which is an Xbox first-party IP from a development studio that is only known for Xbox, why would you take Call of Duty away? Especially once they get the numbers and realize, oh, wait a minute, like Call of Duty money is PlayStation. Like that, like they're like intertwined. You see what I'm saying? But the point is this: like you're afraid I'm gonna take you something when technically I'm already giving you more under the table.
No, but the thing is, the thing that you're giving me is not impactful. Like Sea of Thieves had already been out. Sea of Thieves already had numbers out, right? Because they already been out for many years. It's nowhere near Call of Duty. The second thing is that why they may not have taken Call of Duty from PlayStation, granted, I'll give you that. But they could have done that temporary exclusivity thing, where it's like, oh, we get the maps first, we get these things first, we get those things first. So again, that's another thing that they need a protection from because they didn't want to be seen as the lesser platform to play Call of Duty on. And again, you're saying that, oh, they were already giving Sea of Thieves away, but they could have stopped it at any time. That's not a guarantee, that this thing is going to.
So listen, but no, here's the thing: me talking to you under the table. There's no anybody seeing this. It's just me and you talking, and it's not just Sea of Thieves. Remember, I gave you 4 games, and then a few months later, it was Forza. So it's not just Sea of Thieves. I am telling you, I'm putting my games on your platform. Full stop.
Yeah,
you're getting all my games. Me and you are working deals. Like, bro, I'm giving you Halo.
Yeah.
Jim Ryan knew all this. He knew Microsoft under the table. I am going to be like PlayStation. You're going to be part of my plan to push games out there.
Yeah.
So, of course, it was the first 4. And, of course, in public, Phil Spencer was playing the dancing game. But behind the scenes as exec, there's no secret. Like, bro, I'm giving you all my games. This is what we want. I need support on this. Oh, you're doing PSSR? Can you tell me about it? Because I want to implement that in my games. Like, this is not like... No, it's like Jim Ryan knew Xbox going all the way with this stuff. He knew it.
But again, you're
across the board.
You're taking something that is said verbally versus something that has a contract. For example, this was with Phil Spencer. Let's say that Phil Spencer did exactly what they said. He said, hey, Jim, let's have a meeting. And in there, he's like, look, I'm going to put my cards on the table. All of my first-party games are going to come to your platform eventually. That's just happening. If Phil Spencer is replaced, and the next person, like Asher Sharma, then says, oh, wait, I don't have to give you Call of Duty because we never had a contract that signs that. That's why there needed to be a contract between the companies, not an understanding between the executives.
But they probably did, because remember, in order to produce Sea of Thieves, those first 4 games, in order to produce Forza, you need development kits. They're buying the development kits, and part of the development kits is the 30% cut.
I'm saying there needs to be a contract between Sony and Xbox that says we will get Call of Duty. Like, yeah, the other games.
And remember, Jim Ryan didn't sign no contract for Call of Duty. In fact, he rejected it.
No,
he didn't do the 10-year contract. He didn't do the 10-year. Did he? Did he do the 10-year? I thought he rejected it.
Yeah, the original thing that he rejected, he said that was not going to be, it wasn't enough of a compensation. We don't know what it was that they proposed, but he was like, that's not enough. So then eventually they worked out the 10-year deal, and that's the thing that he signed.
Okay. Let me see. Did he sign a 10-year deal? Or what was it?
Yeah,
yes, Jim Ryan.
He turned it
okay.
down.
Okay, so Jim Ryan signed a 10-year binding agreement with Microsoft on behalf of Sony Interactive on July 16, 2023. The deal was signed 18 months of public opposition. Okay. Duration of contract guarantees Call of Duty frame will remain on PlayStation Pro for the next 10 years. Scope, unlike offers reported early in a broader range. Okay, final agreement, whatever. Context. Ryan initially rejected several shorter offers, including a 3-year extension and even an earlier 10-year offer, calling them inadequate on many levels. So that's the reason why I was confused, because he was offered a 10-year offer. Yeah, he was earlier a 10-year offer. He eventually signed the agreement. Once it became clear the regulatory challenges, the merger was failing. Because I remember he did reject the 10-year offer because it was all games. They gave him the 3-year deal. He said no. Then it's all right. We'll give you a 10-year deal across all Activision Blizzard games. So you get a 10-year deal across more than Call of Duty, and he still said no. And then he signed a 10-year Call of Duty. And the reason why I remember that, because a lot of Xbox podcasters were talking shit like his dumb ass had a better deal with the 10 years across all titles, but he just signed for Call of Duty. And then he started talking shit like, oh, that means the next Diablo is exclusive to Xbox, the next Tony Hawk, because he never guaranteed all AB games would be exclusives. That's why I remember that one.
The thing that I always said with that is that we don't know the details of those deals because the devil is always in the details. You could have said that, yeah, I'll give you Call of Duty, but it comes to you 10 years. It comes to you a year later after it's been exclusive on one platform. You're still getting it for 10 years. You just always get in last year's game.
So not the end know if it was the terms.
You don't know details of that. So if he found that that was inappropriate, then I would trust that it was inappropriate for what he was trying to do. By the end of the day, he did need a deal to be signed. He had to have a contract because, again, unless you have one, like Phil Spencer gets fired or Phil Spencer retires or, suddenly Microsoft changes direction again as they are wont to do. And now it's like whatever previous agreement you were counting on isn't there. So that's what I'm saying. Like, he made many mistakes, and on his mistakes alone, just on the PlayStation side alone, we can absolutely crucify him and send him to North Korea, as you say. But when it came to the ABK deal, you have to give him the credit because it's like, yeah.
But it says he only did it because he knew he was losing. So is it really?
The thing is, whether or not
really put it this way: when you look at the ABK deal, there was really no sign of Microsoft losing. Microsoft made a big case that.
Yeah, they spend the money. But here's the thing. You know how sometimes it's like, we don't know what his original 10-year deal was. And they had no guarantee before that Call of Duty was still going to be on PlayStation. At the end of the day, we know what he got. And what he got is Call of Duty, day and date, at parity for 10 years. That's where the credit is gone, Because otherwise, everything else is just speculation.
Well, it's not speculation that he knew Xbox games was going to PlayStation. That's what I'm saying. We didn't know at the time. Like, for example, if you'd be like, yeah, haha, I figured this out. But then 10 years later, I find out you had insider trading like Trump. Like, no, bitch, you had some more information on the low years later. Like, to me, he's like Trump. He's got insider information. You ain't getting credit for inside information. Like, Microsoft was giving you games. That's why I see it as. Microsoft says, hey, we're going to talk. We're looking at project. I forgot what they were calling it, but we're going to first start out with Sea of Thieves, Grounded, Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment. Then we're looking at our next project, Forza. And then our next project will be this. And they're talking to you about their vision. And then you're like, okay, cool. Hey, we got this thing, PSSR. Because they got PSSR and dev kits day one. So it's not like Sony was hiding the technology behind them, right? They're like, hey, this is our PSSR technology. That's why Microsoft was able to implement it so fast or early. When you see all those little things in hindsight, you're thinking, yo, they've been talking about this for months. They've been in cahoots.
It's talk. Contracts is what is in stone.
Yeah, but he had knowledge of what Microsoft was doing. It wasn't like he was in the dark on what Microsoft was going to do. I can understand if none of I can understand the talks. Yeah, but he had conversations and talks, which gives him a better position to be like, all right, Microsoft made up.
He needs a deal to be signed. Put it this way.
But what I'm saying is this: if there was no talk between Microsoft, then I will give you credit because there was nothing between him and him wondering what Microsoft was going to do. He will still be blind and say, yo, Microsoft's going to go all out, or they're going to take away Call of Duty. I have no idea what they're going to do, none whatsoever. I got to go all out because I have nothing what they're going to do. Okay, buy Bungie, live service, because you are blind. You know nothing about what they're doing. But when Phil Spencer approaches you and be like, hey, this is our plan. This is what we're doing. We need to buy some dev kits. This is why we want to kick it off with this, with this, with this. Then we're going to do with this with Forza Horizon. And this is our plans, contracts, because those needs contracts. You're talking about putting games on PlayStation, so you got 30% cuts, marketing, maybe not marketing, regional distribution, all that stuff. He could sleep better at night thinking, okay, sure, he may want a contract with Call of Duty, but he could sleep better at night knowing that Microsoft is actually not only would continue the plans with ABK and Bethesda, but they're going to expand with more of their titles that were never on PlayStation before. So it's not like he didn't have some conversation and maybe a little bit of comfort. Sure, maybe he didn't rest on his laurels, but he wasn't absolutely blindsided with, like, I have absolutely no idea what Microsoft is doing, so we have to prepare for the worst case scenario, which is everything's there. He didn't have that.
Yeah, and someone
he
in
has
the
some
chat
comfort.
just said it too.
He has some comfort.
Someone in the chat just said it too. Like, Phil could have said anything and you wouldn't trust him. I wouldn't trust shit that motherfucker says either.
I'm saying, you know. But I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. Phil could be lying to his audience, but I don't think he's known as a lying businessman, because no businessman really had anything bad about from a business to business relationship. Business to consumer, yeah, you could talk a shit about them, promising VR, promising all this stuff. But I say business to business, especially like this venture Microsoft does, is a multi-billion-dollar venture. This is not like no $100,000 thing. You're talking putting your biggest titles that were never on PlayStation. This is no small feat. This is not like it's just like a conversation between two mid-level guys in PlayStation, Xbox. This is like this is a whole generational thing, right? Look where we're at now. Fable's day and date, and Halo. Literally, Sony put Halo on a montage on their own channel. So I don't think like this is one of those, all right, two mid-level guys talking. This was Microsoft's big pushing plan at the top level. Halo and I guarantee director. Satya was involved too. And that's why I think Satya was all about this. So even if you replaced Phil with Asha Sharma, you ain't replacing Satya. He's like, no, that's going to PlayStation. This is the plan. This is the way forward. This is what we're doing. I don't think it's as easy, but I think there's a lot of comfort in knowing when Microsoft and you're sitting down at the tables with all this big group and they're unveiling this whole strategic plan. Yeah, I think Jim Ryan had some comfort food in his lap and be like, okay, this is a good thing.
Because if he did, they would have hashed out a deal in like a week or two, and they were fighting over this thing for like over a year.
That's why I don't understand. That's why I don't understand.
I think that whatever Microsoft was offering him was inadequate. That's why first of all, Jim Ryan never talked. We can say that. And whenever he talked,
but he chose a worse deal. He chose a worse deal, maybe.
That's what we're saying. We're saying that he chose a worse deal, but we don't know the details. I don't think it was worse, because guess what? If it was going to be 10 years for all games, exactly as he signed a 10-year deal with day and date and parity and everything, of course he was going to take it.
Unless he thought he was going to win the case, because that's what the only thing I could think of Jim Ryan was his number one priority. It's kind of like Batna, right? What's the best alternative? The number one goal, Microsoft does not get ABK at all, because then they lose the custom bundles, at least perceived. Then they lose the marketing rights, because obviously they're not going to have the marketing rights to the console no more, or to the game no more. So maybe that was Jim Ryan's goal. They cannot get ABK. Best alternative is if they win ABK, all right, we'll take whatever simple deal is. Because you're right. He should have taken the 10-year for everything, but maybe that's not what he wanted. Maybe what he really wanted was, no, I don't want Microsoft to have ABK at all, because as long as Microsoft doesn't own ABK, we can do things like marketing rights, have consoles, whatever, and keep the game off of Gamepass. That could be another thing.
That he didn't want to. We know that because he said it. He said that I don't want you to have this deal. He doesn't want the acquisition to go through. But the difference is this. You can only control the things that you control. For example, PlayStation, despite what these journalists thought they were saying, they have no authority over what these other CMA-like authorities were going to do. So that was never in the courtroom, right? That was never in the ballpark. So that was never something they could, do anything about. So again, what I think is this. Number one, absolutely, I don't want you to get this. But if you were going to put a deal in front of me that I can sign, that is fantastic, just in case you do go through, which I cannot do anything about at the end of the day, I can only make arguments in court or whatever, then I would have signed it, of course, because then if you don't get it, which is what I want in the first place, that our deal is null and void and nobody, I get to win everything. But in case you do get it, I would have a fantastic deal signed up. So there was nothing for him to lose. If the original 10-year deal that people talk about was great, he had nothing to lose by signing it. He would have signed it right away. Because, yeah, I'm still going to fight you in court, obviously. But in case I don't, I have this backup plan. So that's exactly why I don't think that people. I think if people saw what this original deal was, they'd be like, "Yeah, I wouldn't have signed it either," because you have nothing to lose if it was good.
Yeah. Now, how does that play into Bungie?
I don't think that Bungie was a part of the ABK acquisition thing. I think
No,
it was part
you don't
of
think it was a response or rebound, like an emergency knee-jerk reaction?
I don't think you do that. I don't think you do $4 billion outside of because you felt spite that somebody's buying something else.
Well, not spite, but like a backup plan. Like if you take
at all again because this is one of the biggest purchases for Sony as a whole. And PlayStation doesn't just make a $4 billion purchase without talking to the rest of Sony. So that doesn't happen in 2 months because you have to get the entire organization. You have to come to them and be like, okay, so listen, I know you don't pay attention to us and what we do in gaming, but there's this thing called live service. There's these revenues. Here's what we think of that. This is something that we want to do. Here's our strategic shift. You have to explain these things for so many. Then you have to go to Bungie and be like, hey, so listen, I just talked to my boss and my boss's boss and my boss's boss. And we think that you like there's too many things that need to go on for that to just be something that you just get a quick turnaround on. What I think is when the pandemic happened in 2019, a lot of money started flowing into gaming. We know this, right? Because people were not going outside. Gaming was looking there. Investors were literally, and the thing is, money was cheap to borrow. That's another thing that people don't think about. The interest rates. Money was almost like for these big companies, the interest rate was so laughably low that even if you had the cash, it was better for you to borrow their money anyway. That's how stupidly cheap it was to borrow money because you will keep your reserves, obviously. And that's what a lot of them did because investors and private credit and everything was there. And I think a lot of them were pushing like, hey, you have all this money now, make a huge acquisition. For example, Shuhei Yoshida even said it. He was like, I think it was Sean Layden that said it. When they asked him, like, why didn't you do like a live service thing during your tenure during the PS4 generation? And he said the amount of money that was swimming around after he left was not the amount of money that was swimming around when he was still in the waters, you know? And that's the thing. So now you are Sony or you are PlayStation and you have access to all of this cash. And you're thinking to yourself, hey, I have a bright idea. Let's follow this dumbass, live service initiative. And you have the money to be dumb. And that's what they did. They made a dumb move because they had the money to afford to make that dumb move. If the COVID pandemic hadn't happened, Bungie wouldn't be bought for $3.6 billion because that kind of money was just not available to them. And that's the thing. It wasn't just remember Embracer Group. We don't talk about that much, but how many studios did they purchase?
They
At
purchased
some point,
almost
Embracer, was swallower. They were literally just swallowing up and gobbling up everything. So they had a huge amount of money to do. Epic Games had a huge amount. Remember, they bought Mediatonic, which had Fall Guys, and I think they bought them for like $2 billion off of fucking Fall Guys. A company that like 2 years before only had 50 employees. They were bought for $2 billion or some stupid thing like that. Epic had a lot of money to throw around. Apple, Apple did its own purchases over there, but I guess that doesn't include us. But there's so many companies that when you go back and you look at the biggest acquisitions, you find that a lot of them came during that pandemic period where money was cheap. People thought that, hey, these people are going like Peloton. Do you guys remember how big Peloton was during the pandemic? I follow Peloton now and see where the valuation is and how much money they've lost. It is insane. Facebook and Meta, what is this? Mark Zuckerberg, he spent $88 billion on the metaverse. Remember that little thing where they were talking about the metaverse for a while when crypto was happening, Web 3.0? That cost $88 billion by 2025. 88 billion. So what I'm telling you, that it was just a colossal amount of money going so many ways that people were just
the people being stupid about it.
It's like, listen, if a 20-year-old wins $100 million in the lottery, he's going to do stupid things. That's what was happening to the industries. That's the Bungie acquisition. I don't think it has to do with ABK, but also ABK itself. is a product of that. $69 billion for ABK meant nothing.
Yeah.
In fact, if they had been smart, they would have just let ABK ride out that whole, you know, how they were being investigated for sexual misconduct and everything.
Go through all that pains. It would have been cheaper.
Exactly. If they had been smart, they would just be like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to sit on this. I'm going to wait until you're worth $12 billion. That would have been a smart thing to do. But there was way too much money swimming around, and they were like, I got to capitalize on this moment. And they were just acting dumb.
Okay. So, Queen Roundtree, to your question, yeah, it probably was a dumb thing to buy ABK. Especially now since Call of Duty didn't really help Game Pass. You know, Microsoft just now became responsible. But, I mean, technically, was it a mistake? It depends. It depends. If Microsoft's mission is to become the biggest third party, most successful third party, then I don't think ABK was a bad deal. Because it could help them. In the long term, it could end up doing what they want to do. But if the idea was to dominate as a first party provider, it was a stupid move. So it depends on what lens.
I will say this. Buying ABK was a smart thing, but it was dumb for $69 billion. That's the thing. It's like you did the thing, you just paid too much for it. It's a bit like a house. You buy yourself a nice house, but you buy it when the real estate market is at its highest.
Yeah.
And then 5 years later, your house is worth 30% less than when you bought it. You just went too far into it. So yeah, it was a smart thing because yes, it does forward, it does accelerate the strategy, and that's something that Phil Spencer has said. But again, ABK's true value was closer to $20 billion than it was to $69 billion. You know, so yeah, you just invested too much. It's the same thing that they did with Nokia, by the way. They bought Nokia, I remember, for like $9 billion.
Or some shit, or some ridiculous number.
Exactly.
And they were just the third largest.
That money back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you gonna say Entity?
Oh no, I was saying that is the brilliance and the monster that is of Bobby Kotick, right? He has the ability to make diamonds out of coal. You know, he was like embroiled in controversy. He figured out that from a productivity perspective, there's no chance that the Western developers will be able to compete with, people from South Korea, China. And yeah, he just said, I think it's the best time to sell. And yeah, he stole the bank and, the treasury.
Lulu Chang got that bag. Yeah. Boy, Lulu Chang, boy, that girl got that bag. She sucking all that Xbox fan base and bounced. Oh, snap.
She should.
Yeah, Jenna Hayes, thank you for the super chat. Says Yoshida can work as a consultant for Sony. I think that relationship. I think right now he's so far apart from Sony. He's probably it's like one of those.
He has just gotta move on. Company.
Yeah, you just gotta move on. Yeah. Like Sony's already.
Actually, you don't go back to work for your ex. Listen,
that's true.
They broke up. Like he's not going back to work for them again.
Maybe like a few years. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, you can hire him. Any indie developer or developer can now hire him for consultation. He's his own private consultant.
So, for like the indies,
and he's doing an excellent job, right? He was supporting Gate Story. He was supporting that Sword of the Sea, that game, from the Abzu game developers. And apparently he was. Yeah, apparently he was also consulting with Kepler. Now, if you know what Kepler did, is they're part of the guys who Expedition 33. So there you go. So the man knows his name.
That's better. That's better. Yeah, like the company moved on. So to go back to the company, man, really, like you don't really do consulting like that. It's really internal with the strategic vision of the big company and stuff like that. Like to consult with PlayStation going forward, that's a big role. And he's probably wants no part of that. Like it's already done. Shout out to Marco81. He says Jim Ryan gets a B- for me. He could have handled things better, but he was in a position where he generally thought Xbox was taking COD away. Okay. Next is Donnell Brown. Stay with me. CJ McCollum. Leave my team out of it. I already know you are about to say something about them. Go Atlanta. Man, he's talking about basketball in the playoffs. Listen, his team got bumped in the first round. All right, the Warriors. Listen, you can't talk basketball. Listen, Donnell, basketball season's over for you. All right? Look, listen. You no longer need to be concerned about basketball. It's over for you. You can now sleep. Listen, go to Cancun, have a vacation, and just wait for the NFL. Okay, just wait for the NFL. You no longer need to concern yourself over the NBA. All right, just enjoy your time in Cancun.
Yo, hold on. Before you keep going, I have a quick question. What happened to Pat?
Who? What happened to who? He never gave me, like, I looked at the chat. His name is not there, and I got no messages. I got no notifications. So maybe another time.
Yo,
Hopefully. I don't even know if he's still. I don't know. I don't got anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's still watching.
Yeah, so, hopefully maybe next week he'll show up. All right. We got Glassdoor Gamer. He said Nishino the Machino got rid of the colonizers. There's a thing about PlayStation gamers. They do not want Western leadership to be at the top when it comes to PlayStation. They feel that Eastern leadership at the top is the best decision for PlayStation. No. I don't think Sean Layden did a bad job. I mean, he did start the PC thing. And who was him prior? Who was the guy prior to him?
Andy House?
Andrew House. Andrew
Yeah.
House did a pretty good job with PS4. He did a great job with PS4.
He got Kojima, remember?
Yeah,
He's the
he
guy
did a
who
great
got
job.
Kojima.
Andrew House did a great job with PS4. Yeah. Okay.
Jack Trenton before that?
Trent was the
Oh,
PS3 era. He was going through hard times. Jack Trenton.
Yeah.
But that was
he's the guy who delivered PlayStation
Yeah.
4. You know, he's the infamous.
Oh yeah.
We don't require online connectivity, yada yada yada. It's just
Yeah.
And we're gonna deliver. We're gonna launch the system at $399.
Okay.
That is
Right.
that's right.
All right. We got Mount Cash. Thank you for the super chat. Says one thing's for sure. ABK deal show PS just how easily those massive multiplayer games could be taken away from PS. They will never give up on live service. I think they don't have a choice. You can't just perpetually keep losing money and failure after failure. At a certain point, like, you can't say, "Oh, we're nervous about third-party games losing, so we got to do live service." Yet your live service is screwing everything up for you, and you're losing money. Like, that's your worst part of your business. At a certain point, it's like, Now here's the thing: like now, especially now, who would take the multiplayer away from PlayStation?
No
Like,
one.
who? No one. There's no one who can take it away. And why, you're probably not going to see another big purchase like ABK or anything like that again. That's just not going to happen because you saw what you have to commit. When you spend like $69 billion, you have to commit to the profits. So you're probably not going to see any scenario where big multiplayers get taken away from PlayStation. PlayStation market share is too big. And who would do it? Nintendo? Nintendo wouldn't do it. Nintendo wouldn't even be interested in buying anybody else like that.
Grand Theft Auto's prioritizing them.
Yeah.
Prioritizing who? Oh, PlayStation, yeah. So
You can put a PlayStation in their trailer.
at this point, I think that was the fear, but Microsoft, they made a deal with the devil. They bought ABK and they realized they pretty much pigeoned. I think like they really pigeoned themselves into a hole where they have to be third party. They can't make games without PlayStation. They don't have the console share to just rely on their own product. And the people they bought, the reason why they were so expensive is because part of the money they make and success they make was because of PlayStation in the console market, So Sony, I think we also notice a slowdown anyway of live service games. Like you don't hear a lot of talk of Sony has 7 or 8 live service games in the pipeline. We really don't. Like right now, what's left? Fair Games and Project Gummy Bears, and I think one more game. So that's like 3 games that officially people know that's in the pipeline.
Bad Robot Games?
Yeah, like the Bad Robot. Is that a live service game or we don't even know? Let's see. That's a live service game, right?
Robot Games is doing a live service game.
It's a live service game. So it's like 3 games.
The guys
What is
who
it?
did Left 4 Dead.
Who? What?
Gummy Bear is not a single player game?
Yeah. Is Gummy Bears a single player game? Because I thought that was the project when they splintered.
Yeah, from Bungie.
Yeah, from Bungie. Is it a single player game? Let me find out.
I could be wrong.
I don't know.
Let me see.
But I know Bad Robot Games is like the devs from the Left 4 Dead. They're making a
4-loop.
4-loop. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, AI.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
Not bad for a free model.
Yeah, I try.
No, it's a live service game. Project Gummy Bears is a live service game.
Yeah. What I could see, if they're going to pivot to a different strategy.
Competitive MOBA. That's Project Gummy Bears. Team-based competitive MOBA that incorporates elements from fighting games, platformers, and life simulations. What does that mean?
It means it's going to fail.
It means it's aimed towards some kids.
F plus.
Oh, Chad, you know what that means? Are you excited at the sound of Project Gummy Bears? Like, what does that's a lot of stuff.
Stupid ass project name.
I guess. All right.
They have Hunter's Gathering. I cannot believe they have Hunter's Gathering.
Oh damn! Shit, dude! Oh my god!
Like whoever thinks that that these types of games would have been successful, it's just they have no idea whatsoever. To be honest, I have a interesting theory with the success or non-success of multiplayer games. Looking at the PC, what's successful there from a multiplayer successful, perspective and consoles. Nowadays, most of the games that are really successful are systems-based games, right? Helldivers is a little bit systems-based. The gravity can be a little bit wonky. You can do many different things, many different weapons, approach things in a different way. Different enemies. It's just anything that is restrictive, similar to Hunter's Gathering or even Marathon. People would say Marathon is heavily systems-based game. Yes, it is, but it is really restrictive. And I think that's why it is not resonating, or if it's resonating with people, it doesn't have that stickiness to go a long way. Is in Marathon, there's only few ways that you can win. There is, you cannot, improvise and innovate within the game. And I think Rockstar is literally killing themselves to make GTA 6 as much more systems-based game as, from an online perspective. So.
Okay. All right. And okay. And that's it. That's all the topics we covered with a little bonus of Jim Ryan report card on top of that, which is pretty good. I think we all agree he's a F plus. Good grade.
Yeah. I didn't expect that to be such a debate. Good shit.
it's a F plus. Please hit the like button, but we're gonna start doing our outros. Will.
Hey, appreciate you guys for having me. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the panel. Follow everybody. Someone on this panel is playing Hades too. I mean, calling me a liar. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I don't want to say who.
Yeah.
Well, he loves Hades. Yeah, I know he's happy.
But I'm about to actually go live right now and play some Resident Evil Requiem. If you guys want to follow me,
God bless you.
Appreciate.
You're doing the Lord's work.
But yeah, man, hit that like button, chat.
All right, M.
Yo, I am the liar that called Chill with a Liar last week because he could see into the future, which is ironic because I'm in the future from his perspective, So I play Hades too. It will be my Expedition 33 of the year, so expect to hear a lot of recommendations. No, I will not go as far to say it's the top 5 of all time, but it is a fantastic game. So if you haven't played the Hades series, I highly recommend them. You can start at number 1 or number 2. There is a continuity between them in terms of the story. However, if you were to jump in fresh into Hades 2, you will have a fantastic experience anyway. It's one of those things where you can jump into whichever chapter of the story you want, and you will not be lost. So they did a great job in that way. So yeah, but on my channel you're going to see a lot of live streams with Hades 2. So if you're like, hey, I have no idea what this game plays like, you just want to have kind of like, I guess, see somebody be really, really bad at it, you can watch me. And yeah, that's a thing that you can do on my channel. But I will also be creating other videos because there are some topics that I want to touch, including this Game Pass one, because again, the community just needs the extreme take on this so that they can stop being bamboozled by what looks to be good when in reality you're just being stabbed in the back. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Entity.
I guess my main thing this week and next week coming up is Saros. Yeah, reviews in only a few days. I think it's gonna be probably a Game of the Year contender. Then we're gonna be playing very soon that game. So very, very happy that we're gonna get that. The other thing I was gonna mention is if you have PSVR 2, please jump on Flight Sim 2024. When it comes out of beta, it's coming out of beta very soon, and that experience is quite amazing. I can now fly over M and Valkyrie's house.
Can you get my roof while you're at it? Thanks.
Henry.
Well, I'm mostly doing packing and wrapping up my time here in Taiwan, and I'll be in the air next week when we do.
Are you gonna be missing? Are you gonna miss Taiwan?
Yeah, of course I am, but it's time to go back because there are things I need to do back in LA. So
you need in and outs. That's what it is.
In and out.
Yeah,
I'm missing in and out.
Do they have those? Do they have those where you are?
No, absolutely not.
Loser.
They do have a place called Cookout. It's delicious. You know what I'm talking about? Cookout. Will, you should look it up. It's fucking delicious. Idea. And you know what's funny? It's still cheap.
And you got the tendonism closer to you too.
Oh, tendon? No, I don't. You guys, that's on your side of the house.
Yeah, but the main cook went to Atlanta.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
The old guy, Unc left.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he's opening up his own restaurant in Atlanta.
Oh, he's gonna do tendonism. All right.
Tendonism.
But yeah, and I do miss in and out though. I ain't gonna lie.
You got Five Guys.
That's
the thing. Yeah.
Yep. If anybody wants to play, I'm your cult leader. Yep.
Pause. Oh yeah. I was like, the way y'all talking about Division 2 makes me want to boot it up because like, oh shit. All right, man. Appreciate it, man. Have a safe trip. Welcome back to America. And make sure make sure when you land, your first meal is in and out.
I
the fries suck though.
If next week's 60 frame no lag runs long, then I might be able to catch the end when I land.
Okay, all right. Yeah, just enough to let us know you made it safe. All right, brother. Yeah. Thank you. And then, of course, last but most definitely not least, Valkyrie.
The queen.
Right. Good debate as always. This week I will be playing Pragmata. It finally arrived on my Switch.
On your Switch? Go ahead. Yeah.
If I get the capture card, I might record some gameplay, but it'll probably involve me swearing a lot. So maybe Dad. Other than that, I'm getting used to Call of Duty again on my PC, which is a lot harder than I thought, and there was a lot of swearing on the weekend. So I did not record that. Other than that, I'll probably do some painting, and that's it. Yeah.
Wait, hold up. You paint too?
What doesn't she do?
Oh yeah. Hey, Entity. Remember how I said I would do your yokai sort of thing in watercolors?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I kind of did it.
Oh wow. Wow. Wait, show that again.
So she paints also.
I get bored. Clearly.
Wow.
Get a PlayStation.
Okay. So
at the moment. Sorry.
Valkyrie, what can we do? Should I hire you over to the PlayStation side? Because You're too talented to be on Nintendo.
Yeah,
okay? You're bigger than that. They're like the B League. They're the B League. Okay, you need to be in the A League. You need to be a PlayStation. You need to be a.
You need that. Like, listen,
when we're
snowboarding,
fighting, these PC
surfing,
people, we need talented people on our
carpentry,
side.
bridge jumping, now painting. Oh, half marathon, bicycling, half marathon, swimming. Like, listen, you got way too much talent for the Nintendo guys.
Hire you. You just tell us what your price is. You know,
We got.
We need to bring you over to team.
This is just way too much.
I need more time.
No,
and playing Darwin on my PC. My new thing is trying to see how many games I can play on my old PC. That's still kind of.
That's what you're trying to do. You try to fix up.
Just Henry. So if you could just send me her address, so I could just send people to break her PC.
That's it.
This transition to PlayStation.
Like, we gotta speed up this transition. You know.
20 kangaroo end up on the front door.
That old PC is holding us back. Like, she's preaching.
I just want you to organize this. We'll just once we take away everything else, you will be free to choose PlayStation. Of course.
Of course, it's a choice, right?
It's absolutely a choice. It's a choice you already made.
Can we just donate some money so that
we're gonna have to start doing it. We're gonna have to start doing like a Valkyrie fund or something. Like, you know, get her.
Listen, Henry, I need you to remember that this is PlayStation. We believe in exclusivity. We don't want to give a PS5 Pro that has to sit alongside the PC and the Switch. We want it to be exclusive.
Smash up the other things.
We need the other things to be destroyed.
Destroyed.
Like, Sean always says, burn to the ground.
Okay. Oh wow. Burn it to like Sean K says, burn it to the ground. All right. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Hey, really appreciate it, panel. Thank you so much for showing up. And to the chat, to the viewers, thank you so much for rocking out. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the like button, and really appreciate you guys. See you for those tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. for my first show. I already got SPR's thumbnail. Yeah, the thumbnail. Yeah, you'll see it tomorrow, or you could just check his Twitter. You could check his Twitter. He has it up now. Yeah. That's what I'll be using. So anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Yep. So 10 a.m. tomorrow, Puerto Rican coffee show. I guess that's what it's called tentatively. It's Project Puerto Rican Coffee. That's what we'll call it. Project Puerto Rican. Anyway, we're gonna have project names, all right? But anyway, hope to see you there if you can make it. But anyway, your only friend is YouTube Streets Puerto Rock 77. And thank you so much. You guys take care. Have a great night or have a great afternoon. Peace.